Meet Isla, your AI receptionist who never takes a break. Isla answers every call, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Handles frequently asked questions using your business knowledge. Takes bookings and appointment requests accurately. Captures messages and routes urgent calls to the right person. While Isla handles the calls, you handle what you do best. The best part? Isla works with your existing phone system and can be set up in under 48 hours. Request your free demo today. Isla, because if you're missing calls, you're missing business.
Weak website? It could be a superstar. We do A/B testing, personalization, social proof, product recommendations, baseline analysis to bring your bottom line over the line. Visit webtrends-optimize.com or call 0333 444 5502 today.
Everyday pleasures.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to Hove for the latest instalment of T20 cricket. I'm Adrian Harms on a most glorious evening here on the south coast. We just like to make sure that the headsets are working around the ground. I know a lot of people don't listen on the headset during T20, but if you are and you can give us a wave, at least we know that we're going out around the ground, and I can't see anybody waving, so that's not a good start, but I'm sure it is going out around the ground. I say, I'm Adrian Harms, delighted to be joined by Victoria Polly from BBC Essex. Victoria, good to see you.
Good evening. Very nice to be here.
And what a great night to come down here. I mean, Hove, we love coming to Hove, but Hove kind of looks its best tonight.
Absolutely, it's beautiful. My only complaint is that I'm only here for a T20. It's disappointing this season, isn't it? Because we haven't got a championship match here. I would have loved to have spent longer with you here, Adrian, but hopefully we're in for a good night of T20 cricket.
Well, let's hope so. It seems a long time ago that Sussex began this competition at Chelmsford, a game that Sussex won by 6 wickets. They chased down 191 to win. They won in 16 overs, and we thought, oh, here we go. And since then, of the 7 games since then, Sussex have won 1. And Essex have gone in the other direction, really.
Well, yeah, I probably was thinking the opposite to you after that game, knowing that Essex had struggled in the T20 Blast last season after that defeat against Sussex, and then going to Hampshire in the following game and suffering quite a heavy defeat as well. I was starting to worry about Essex's prospects in this competition, but they then went on to win 4 in a row. They found some rhythm. They have struggled after we've come back since the break. Northamptonshire last Friday looked a really good side. That was one of Essex's game outside the group. And then Surrey put on a huge total at Chelmsford for Essex to try and chase down on Wednesday. And it looked a tall order for Essex, but actually they gave it a really good go and actually got quite close in the end. And just if they maybe hadn't lost a couple of quick wickets in the middle order, it might have been an even tighter contest. But I think Essex still have hopes and still have the opportunity to qualify for those quarterfinals. So they'll be trying to get back to winning ways tonight.
That looked a great game against Surrey. I mean, was it sort of 230 or something? Surrey got
it's 240, which actually for the second game in the row was the most runs Essex have ever conceded in a T20 game, and they also made it the biggest chase they've ever managed to pull off. There were positives from it, but again, from the bowling point of view, I think they'll be disappointed that they conceded that many, both in the power play where they struggled to take wickets, and then in the final overs as well. They probably let Surrey get 30, 40 more than they should have.
Well, in terms of the way the competition is going to work this season, there are 3 groups of 6. The top 2 automatically go through to the quarterfinals. Essex are currently in 4th place in the group, but 3 sides, Surrey, Kent and Essex, are just separated by 4 points. I think it's fair to say, and I haven't done all the maths, but Sussex are out of this. I mean, they've only got 4 games to play. The maximum point Sussex can get will be 22. Is that right? They could get 22 points, but with other sides to play, etc., that is not going to be enough. So really, Sussex are playing for pride here, and they've had 2 really poor performances. They lost here to Surrey last Friday, and at Edgbaston on Wednesday night was probably the worst performance of the campaign. They lost their last 5 wickets for 7 runs and were heavily beaten by 76 runs, and then they lost to Surrey by 7 wickets here last Friday. So the Sussex public, who have really got behind the club in recent weeks with all the financial problems off the field, they're due a good performance. But it's going to be Sean Hunt who's going to get us underway, and he's going to be bowling to the tall figure of Paul Walter, who was in good form the other night, I think.
Yeah, Paul Walter racing away to a half-century in the game against Surrey. He really set Essex off to a good start, so he'll be hoping for something similar. The big news for Essex team-wise, 2 changes. Sam Cook returns into the side, and Mackenzie Jones comes in as well. Charlie Bennett and Noah Thane are the players to miss out.
And Sussex are unchanged. As in comes Sean Hunt's ball. The first ball of the match, he bowls to Paul Walter, who plays that into the offside, and there is no run. Sean Hunt, who I thought was one of 3 bowlers who did bowl well for Sussex the other night, up at Edgbaston, 4 overs for 34. He bowled a bit better than those figures suggest. And not many Sussex players have had a good competition, but certainly Sean Hunt, having had all the injuries he's had, has had a decent time of it when he's played. 1 slip in place, 3 men saving 1 on the offside, 3 on the leg as in comes Hunt and bowls, and Walter again plays firmly to mid-off, fielded by Sir Mount Mills, who trots round from mid-off to field, and there is no run.
We were saying it was a long time ago since these two sides faced each other at the beginning of this competition, and in terms of squads and the lineups as well, it does look quite different, doesn't it?
It does. So Sussex, of that team that played at Chelmsford, only 6 of that side are playing in this match, which gives you an idea of how Sussex side has changed through injuries and loss of form, and players being called up for England. As in comes Hunt and bowls and clipped away by Walter. That's a lovely shot. Slightly over pitch by Sean Hunt and clipped away beautifully away through straightish mid wicket for 4 runs. Nice shot by Walter to get his way. He goes on to 4. The only players that remain from that game over in Chelmsford are Daniel Hughes, John Simpson, Tom Alsop, Danny Briggs, Henry Crocombe and Tamal Mills. So no James Coles, who played in that game. No Tom Clark, who's injured. In comes Hunt, running in over the wicket, bowls and clipped away by Walter, and he's going to pick up more runs here. In fact, he's going to pick up another boundary. A little too short from Sean Hunt, and Paul Walter just clipping the ball firmly away through mid-wicket for another boundary. Only 2 fielders allowed outside of the 30-yard circle at this stage. There's a deep square leg and a third man, but 2 good shots from Paul Walter, who looks in good nick, Victoria.
Yeah, it started well here again for Essex in terms of the team that faced Sussex at Chelmsford back in May. Vian Mulder was a part of the side then, Essex's second overseas player. He's now gone off to play in America.
Hunt in the bowls and Walter clips. That's going to be a 3rd boundary in a row. He clips that one away down to fine leg, and having said how well Sean Hunt had polled the competition, he's now conceded 3 boundaries in a row, and that was just down the leg side, and Walter just tucking inside the line, clipping the ball down towards the fine leg boundary for 4 runs, and a very quick outfield here. The ball raced away for 4 runs.
Yeah, he's just helping the pace of it, isn't he? He's not really having to do a lot just to guide the ball into those gaps away for those boundaries. I mentioned Thane not involved. He played in that first game, as did Charlie Bennett.
In comes Sean Hunt, bowls, final ball of the over. That's a good delivery. Beats Walter outside the off stump. The ball goes through to John Simpson. So a good ball to finish the over. Essex are 12 without loss. All those runs going to Paul Walter. Essex winning the toss, batting first. Sussex, just for the record, unchanged from that heavy defeat up at Edgbaston on Wednesday evening. And Tamal Mills is going to be opening the bowling against his former county from the Cromwell Road end of the ground.
Yeah, interesting decision from Essex. There was some criticism for them having won the toss and electing to bowl first at Northamptonshire last week, and they ended up bowling first again on Wednesday. So this time they've been able to set the target that they want Sussex to meet. Now Michael Pepper will be the Essex batter to face. He got a half century in that game against Sussex. He's got 2 so far this T20 Blast campaign, but they came early on as Mills is in, and he plays that one into the ground, and it just pops up and drops into the leg side for no run.
Michael Pepper always seems to score runs against Sussex.
He had was it 2 seasons ago here? He got 80 odd in a game that actually Essex looked like they weren't going to win, and suddenly Michael Pepper was able to turn things around with the bat for them.
Yeah, he batted beautifully in that game. I think that might have been an afternoon game, actually, from memory.
It was, yeah, Saturday afternoon, I think. And even last season, although the game ended up falling to rain here, it did feel like a bit of a turning point for Essex in the T20 Blast when they'd had a miserable campaign up until that point, and then Jordan Cox was scoring runs, and they ended up with no result. As Mills is in, and Pepper looks to go for the pull, misses the ball. It's through behind the stumps for no run.
You've got a good memory. Was it rained off here last year?
It was, yes. I remember it because Don Topley was here, and he sent through. Well, he tried to get an interview, but everyone was sort of huddled under the dugouts trying to keep dry as they did interviews.
I think I was away.
Yeah,
yes,
you might be right.
Yeah. That's probably why I can't remember it. Right, okay.
It was I think it was a Thursday or Friday night, and ended up falling foul to the weather, but it did mark a turning point in the way that Essex then performed and picked up some wins following that, as Mills is in over the wicket to Pepper, who's defending that one. We're yet to have anyone scored off this second over. Michael Pepper finding it hard to get off the mark against Tamal Mills. Essex, of course, still without Jordan Cox, who's on T20 duty with England, well, at least involved in the squad. He wasn't part of the side on Wednesday night, who played at Durham and in the end. That game fell foul to the weather, but he's a part of that squad playing at the moment. So from an Essex point of view, we've seen him for a couple of games, but that's all really due to his other commitments, and good to see him when he is getting those international opportunities. Remains 12 without loss as Mills is in. That one's turned into the leg side, past square leg, and Pepper will get off the mark and he'll get off strike. Single to the score. His first runs on the board.
Yeah, he's not had a great campaign, Tamel, by his own very high standards. He was very expensive up at Edgbaston on Wednesday night. I just checked the records, went for 53, I think, in his 4 overs. Then here against Surrey last Friday, he just bowled the 2 overs and went for 35. So he'll be keen to, as a skipper, and I mean, Sussex can't qualify, but they'll want to finish their campaign well, not least, to get people into the ground for the last game here against Hampshire.
A good crowd here with the sun still shining. We've got the floodlights sort of coming on as well as Mills is into Walter. That one will be a wide ball down the leg side. So another delivery for Essex to face in this second over.
Yeah, it was a horrible delivery, wasn't it? Spearing down the leg side. A couple of names people might not know in the Essex side. Victoria, Mackenzie Jones.
Yeah, Mackenzie Jones. He's a young Scottish international. He hasn't appeared yet in the T20 Blast this season, but he played a few games last year. But he has been playing internationally, and he's been not only he's a bowler, he's a tall bowler, but he's also been scoring runs in the lower order for the Essex second 11. So he's getting his chance tonight as Mills is in with a shorter delivery, which just pops up off Walter and took everyone a bit by surprise, I think.
I don't think he knew that had gone, did he?
No, he looked like it just came off the glove perhaps and dropped safely for Walter, who just comes to meet Pepper in the middle. So yes, Mackenzie Jones we're seeing for the first time this season, but he's regarded as a good young exciting prospect for Essex, and I haven't heard any news over Bennett missing out, but again, just 20 years old, he's played a lot of cricket, so whether Essex are just trying to rotate the workload. And he didn't bat against Sussex, but he was in the side. Simon Fernandez, who is a wicket keeper and a batter, as this one is Mills in, and that ball is just prodded back to him by Walter. Such soft hands, an easy catch for Mills to take, and his follow through just guided back into the hands of Mills, and Essex lose a first wicket in the second over. They're 14 for 1.
We'll just see the replay. I think that stopped a little bit on Paul Walter, didn't it? I don't know, it was a little short. I don't know if he got caught in two minds. He had a really suspicious look at the pitch, didn't he, as he walked off. Here we are.
He can't quite believe he's played that straight back to Mills.
I thought for a minute it had bounced. It was such a curious shot, wasn't it? And Tamel Mills took the catch. So first blood of the evening to Tamel Mills. Is that the end of the second over? Yes, it is. I think
it is 14 for 1.
So just the 2 runs coming off over. And Tamel Mills will be really pleased about that, because I say he's not had the greatest competition. And in the other evenings they went for 53 in his 4 overs. So he'll be delighted to have picked up a wicket. And is it going to be Sean Hunt who's going to carry on? I think it is.
And Charlie Allison out into the middle for Essex earlier than they would have liked to see him.
Yeah. So slip is remaining in place, and the ground is not full at the moment. I'm told there was just a handful of tickets left, so maybe people are still making their way in after their Friday at work, as in comes Sean Hunt running in and bowls to Allison, who plays that onto the leg side and picks up a single. Henry Crocombe runs into field, and there is 1 to the total. In fact, that was Michael Pepper who played that shot, wasn't it? And the total 15 for 1. So Charlie Allison is now on strike. So just the 1 slip in place, 3 men saving 1 on the offside, 3 on the leg. The 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle are a deep backward point, almost like a wideish third man, and then a deep square leg. There's Allison, does a bit of guarding, has a word to Michael Pepper, and he waits as Sean Hunt, left arm, running up the hill from the C end of the ground, is in and bowls, and Allison defends the ball with good length, just punches it out into the offside, fielded there by Tom Alsop, and there is no run. Nice buzz around the ground.
Yeah, always good on a Friday night, isn't it, to see the cricket crowd. And when I arrived, the women's game was going on as well. So good to see people in watching that.
And are there big crowds at Chelmsford? I mean, there generally is for for T20.
Yeah, really good. We've had a few sellouts on the evening games.
Here comes Hunt, bowls, and Allison guides that one away down to deep third man. We'll way out in the distance. I think that is George Thomas all the way out there who gets in the throw. He's a long, long way out in the distance. And Charlie Allison is on his way, 16 for 1.
Yeah, he's averaging 61 in this competition so far, with Paul Walter's knock against Surrey the other night just overtook him in the runs scored. But Allison, having scored 246 runs so far in the T20 Blast,
That's excellent.
He has looked good.
Hunt coming into bowl to Michael Pepper, who's 2 not out. A ramp shot from Pepper, that's beautifully played. Very skillfully played. I said that Michael Pepper always seems to score runs against Sussex. And he's, well, you know, you say he's taking liberties. He's rehearsed that shot, he's practiced that shot, and he's executed it beautifully. He goes to 6 and Essex to 20 for 1.
He does love that shot, does Michael Pepper. You often see it, and we saw him in that first over that he faced against Tamal Mills, just struggling to get off the mark. So sometimes you've got to be a bit creative, haven't you, to find ways to get the ball going.
Sean Hunt is in again. Bowls, Webber's down, they'll get hammered this one away. Now I've lost the striker, but I think it's gone all the way.
Oh, from the crowd.
Oh, yeah, he's gone in the crowd. Now, it was dropped. There's a fella there who has got his hands out as if he should have caught it. Either way, it's been drilled by Michael Pepper over extra cover. I lost the flight of it, to be honest, and it disappeared into the Shark stand for 6 runs. Pepper goes to 12, 26 for 1. Big hit. Used his feet, got down the wicket.
Yep, knew exactly what he wanted to do with that.
He's
feeling his way into the game now, Michael Pepper.
He did, and Tamal Mills is just sort of rearranging the field. Now, I wonder if they're going to put someone out on that offside boundary. Just wait and see. They've still got the deep backward square leg, and the fielder's come around from third man. It's more of a sweeper on the cover boundary. So, what's Pepper going to do next? 4 and 6 of consecutive balls as he's in again, up the hill, bowls, and just defensively plays it. And that's good. That's good cricket. You know, he's taken, what have they taken off this over? 13 off the over. He'd already taken 12 off the over. No point in going for another big hit. I think Essex will settle with that. Pepper is on 13. Allison is on 1. And at the end of the third over, Essex on 27 for 1.
Yeah, I think that's sensible. He keeps a strike as well for the start of the next over. So many times you see it, don't you, where you get a couple of big hits and then a player goes again and they get out. So I know that's T20 cricket sometimes, but Essex won't want to lose another early wicket in the power play. They've already lost Paul Walter for 12, Corden bowled to Tamal Mills, who is going to continue. And Michael Pepper is on 13. He's faced 8 deliveries. As we see, I don't know if the crowd opposite are fanning their 4 and 6 cards, but they're certainly waving them at the wrong moment as Mills is into Pepper, and that one just tucks him up and drops into the pitch in front of him. He has found it difficult to get these deliveries away from Tamal Mills.
Yeah, it has. And as I say, Tamal, he's had a difficult time, particularly since that opening game at Chelmsford that Sussex won so convincingly. And I think without Ollie Robinson in the side as well, he just feels, he's having to lead the attack pretty much on his own.
Remains 27 for 1. We're into the 4th over here at Hove. With commentary, Victoria Polly and Adrian Harms, as Tamal Mills is in. That is just clipped into the leg side and away for 6 by Michael Pepper. It didn't look as if he'd got a huge amount of swing on the bat, but enough pace that he's just clipped that over the square leg boundary for 6 runs.
What a shot that was. I mean, that was just beautifully timed, wasn't it? Just effortless. I've just watched the replay of that, and he just picked that ball up a leg slump, and it's just disappeared into the, I think onto the roof of the Spenkamba Pavilion. That was a cracking shot. Well, I'm not going to say it again, but he does want to get run.
I wonder how much players think about that, though.
I don't know.
They have the grounds that they know that they've had good times at, and whether that's something that can give them any extra belief or momentum. 33 for 1. Pepper is on to 19 as Mills is in over the wicket, and he just dabs at this one, and it drops into the pitch, and then it just rolls along the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure players must have, if you've been here before and scored runs, you must have good memories of that, mustn't you? And maybe that does help. But yeah, I have to look up that. I think he got 100 in that game, Victoria here
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. He was leading the run scoring in the competition itself, and his T20 form that saw him picked up in the 100 quite early on as Mills is in, and this one has just turned towards square leg for no run. It hasn't featured as much in recent seasons of that competition, but certainly his white ball form is something that he was noticed for, and in Championship this season he's struggled for runs at times.
Well, he's a good player. Already 2 sixes to his name.
It's just that 6 from the over so far. Mills begins that hop into his run-up, moving past the umpire into Pepper. Fuller delivery, which just spurts out into the offside through a gap between the two fielders in close and away for 4 runs.
Yeah, he didn't quite get all of that, did he, Michael Pepper? I just wondered for a moment whether Danny Briggs or Ollie Carter might have reached that. In the end, it raced away over the outfield, which is absolutely immaculate. If this was your back lawn, you'd think, wow, it's amazing, because it does look fantastic. There's no excuse for a misfield on this. It's like a carpet.
Yeah.
But it was well placed by Michael Pepper, wasn't it? Because he's got the 2 men there guarding out offside, and it's gone, right between the pair of them, completely bisected them.
Managed to find the gap. 37 for 1. Pepper on to 23. Mills coming in for the final delivery of the over. Oh, that's up in the air from Pepper. He skied that. Simpson just moving across to his left. He should catch it. He's dropped it. Well, he had a lot of time to think about that, did John Simpson. He may well have been looking into the sun as well, but it comes out of his gloves, and that's a lifeline for Michael Pepper, who survives. He was almost already walking and tipping his head back in frustration, thinking he'd given his wicket away. But as it is, it's a drop from the wicketkeeper, John Simpson. Michael Pepper survives at the end of the 4th over. Essex are 38 for 1.
Oh, my goodness me. Poor John Simpson would have nightmares about that. I mean, you're right, Victoria, but it went up miles and miles and miles. But you got the gloves on. Actually, Tamel Mills had turned. He just assumed it was out. I think Michael Pepper did as well. That is a life for Michael Pepper when he was on 23. That could be a big miss. And the score would have been. Did they take a single? Yeah, they did. So. In comes Crocombe, running into bowl to Pepper, who eases that to backward point. There's a slight misfield there. He picks up another run. He goes to 25. Essex to 39 for 1. Henry Crocombe into the Sussex attack. It's been a strange week for Henry, who is leaving the club at the end of the season. I'm sure everybody knows now. And will be appearing for Surrey next season. Just the first of probably several players who are going to be exiting Hove at the end of this season, but he's in a Sussex shirt at the minute. He's in on bowls. It's short and played firmly by Allison through the infield, and picks up a single to George Thomas, who's fielding in front of the Spen-Karma Pavilion, which is in shade at this time of night. Total goes to 41 for 1. He had a long time to think about that catch, John Simpson, didn't he?
Yeah, sometimes it's too much time, isn't it?
I still think he should have called.
You're looking up in the blue sky. I don't know. It's.
Well, no one means to drop them, but I don't think he can. John Simpson is normally as safe as houses.
And you'll probably still be thinking about that.
He will. Crocombe is in. Bowls, and Pepper trying to play that little scoop shot, which Victoria says he enjoys playing, but it goes through to John Simpson, who takes the ball, not cleanly, but there is no run. It's a good start from Henry Crocombe, just 2 singles off the opening 3 balls of the over. Tamel Mills is waving to Harrison Ward. I think he wants him to go back to 3rd man, or maybe not. The field is staying as it is for the time being. In comes Crocombe running in over the wicket. Bowls, heaved away. I don't think he got all of that either, actually, if I'm being honest, Victoria, but he's picked up a 4 as Michael Pepper. He's pulled that one over wideish mid wicket, almost down to Cow corner for 4 runs. it didn't quite time it, but it was enough to get it over the infield, and relatively short boundaries here at Hove. It's running around for a boundary. He goes to 29.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to do that. When it comes to Henry Crocombe, obviously the problems here at Sussex have been well documented. Do you think he would have stayed if it wasn't for that, or would he, with the sort of being on the fringes of England in the interest there, do you think he may well have moved on to somewhere like Surrey anyway?
Yeah. So it's a great question. In comes Crocombe running up the hill away from us, in and bowls to Pepper, who's forward, plays down the offside of the track. There is no run. I mean, he was out of contract at the end of the season, so there's every chance that one of the counties, having seen how Henry's progressed over the last year, would have come in with a big offer that he probably felt he couldn't turn down. Sussex did, as I understand, make him a very good offer. But at the end of the day, I guess if you're going to somewhere like the Oval, perhaps you feel you've got more chance of international recognition, etc. Crocombe in bowls, clips onto the onside by Pepper, who gets his 30th run. Total goes to 45 for 1 to the end of the over. So decent over by Henry Crocombe, just the 7 runs coming off of it. 5 overs gone in the power play. Essex having won the toss of 45 for 1. I think it was something of a heavy heart he left with. And, you know, he's grown up here. He was born in the county. James Kirtley, who's the Sussex bowling coach, has worked with him, you know, all through his teenage years. So, you know, that's tough for James. That Henry's moving on, but his pace has upped in the last 12 months. You can see why he's an attractive proposition for counties, and you know, some of the counties have got more money than Sussex at the minute. Is the reality of it. So it's a shame. Danny Briggs coming into the attack.
And Briggs with sunglasses on. And he'll be into Pepper. We see the first introduction of spin, and it's immediately turn around the corner down to the long leg boundary for 4 runs.
Good shot. You didn't need to have a look at Danny Briggs, did he? Just down the leg side, and he just whipped him away. And in terms of a good score here, conditions like this, good pitch, Essex will be looking to get over 200.
Briggs in around the wicket, use of the feet from Pepper, but it doesn't time it, and it just is prodded into the leg side for a single. So the 50 is up for Essex in the 6th over.
Yeah. This is a good power play, isn't it? I think Essex have been quite pleased with this. They won't want to lose, another wicket in the power play, but I think they've been fairly pleased with this.
They recovered after the early wicket of Walter, who went for 12, caught and bowled by Tamal Mills. Pepper has moved on to 35 from 21, but Allison, who hasn't had much of the strike, is on 2 as Briggs is in, and that's just played back to the bowler by Charlie Allison for no run.
It's interesting. It's a good point you make as well, that all the time you've got Michael Pepper smashing the ball around, Allison is just playing a supporting role for the time being.
Briggs in, and that's just turned into the leg side by Allison, who was trying to get across his stumps to it. They come through for the single. All a bit messy in the end there.
Yeah, it wasn't a great throw by Sean. I don't know if it slipped out of his hand. It very nearly hit Michael Pepper as he was running through there.
Pepper just has a look at the field as Briggs is in. He tries to turn it around the corner again. He hasn't timed that one. So it's picked up at short fine leg. Another single for Essex, just trying to get as much on the board as they can at the end of this power play. 1 delivery to come.
Ben Allison is Charlie's brother, is that
He
right?
is older brother.
Worcester.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Briggs is in, and Allison has been stopped. I was waiting to see if he'd called it, but it was a good stop in the covers. Allison just slammed his bat in frustration because I think he was looking for the gap for the boundary, but it's well fielded inside the ring. So at the end of the power play, Essex are 52 for 1.
Yeah, good piece of fielding, and actually a good recovery by Danny Briggs, having gone for 4 off the first ball of the over. So as Victoria says, end of the power play, 52 for 1. The only way I mention Ben Allison is that he's playing for Worcester against Kent tonight. And I think Essex will be hoping Kent lose that game at Worcester. And Kent are actually 18 for 3, chasing 143 to win. And Ben Allison has taken 2 wickets. He's got 2 for 2 in his opening over. Zach Crawley's still there on 6, but Daniel Bell-Drummond out, and Sam Billings out as well. So that could be good news for Essex.
Yeah, that'd be a good win for Worcester.
Sean Hunt is going to carry on. He's going to bowl his 3rd over from the C end of the ground. He's coming into bowl to the right-handed Michael Pepper. 36 off 22 balls from Michael Pepper, whose weight. Hunt is in bowls, and he's trying to play that scoop shot again. Goes through to John Simpson. There is no run. He bangs his bat on his pad, does Michael Pepper. He was annoyed about that. Sussex now able to post 5 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle. They are at fine leg, deep backward square leg, deep mid-wicket.
God, you're doing well to pick them out.
I think there's a deep
There is someone
extra
down
cover
there.
and a wideish third man as in comes Hunt. Bowls and Pepper drives that firmly to mid-on, fielded just in front of us by Jack Carson, who gets in the throw. Misses the stumps, but plenty of people backing up. Pepper goes through for a single. He goes to 37 of 24. Essex to 53 for 1. I think it's actually been good for the competition, this sort of I wasn't sure about the out of territory games, but I think it's quite nice to play some different sides, to be honest.
It's interesting to see how the different groups weigh up.
Comes Hampton bowls and eased down to third man by Allison. He packed up his 5th run, 5 off 8. Essex to 54 for 1.
I know.
Are you not in favour?
Well, my colleague Nick Lettle hasn't enjoyed it,
Right.
and doesn't think it's the right way to go. I don't think I'm putting words in his mouth by saying that. I thought it was really interesting when Essex played their first match, which was Derbyshire. Derbyshire won a roll, and you wondered how the two sides were going to match up.
Hunt is in bowls. Cut away, fair enough, that's going to be 4 runs. A little too wide from Sean Hunt. Cut away, top edgy though from Michael Pepper, but he picks up another boundary. He goes to 41. Wasn't that far away from backward point, but it's raced away for 4 runs. Essex to 58 for 1.
But then Essex went on to win that game, and I wondered the same thing last week when they were going to Northamptonshire. They were undefeated in their group, but again, you sometimes feel like there's that divide between the different groups. But actually, as it was, Northamptonshire look a very good side.
Hunt in again, bowls to Pepper, who clips this one away through mid-wicket. There'll only be a single as Henry Crocombe trots in from the deep mid-wicket boundary to field. Gets in the throw. Michael Pepper, who was dropped by John Simpson when he was on 23, a skyer that I'm sure John Simpson will. He was 38, actually 38 today, I think, John Simpson. That wasn't a great birthday present. I feel he should have taken that, really. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's his birthday today. John Simpson has been a terrific servant for Sussex since he's come to the club, but he won't have been pleased with himself for that. Hunt, back to his mark. Nice hubbub around the ground here at Hove as Hunt left arm over the wicket, bowls, that's down the leg side, and that's going to be called a wide, taken by John Simpson. Jack Carson down below us, he's fielding at long on. He'll be the 5th bowler that Sussex will use. So Sussex have just got the 5 bowlers. Tom Alsop bowled it over up at. I've never seen Tom Alsop bowl in T20 cricket. I think it was his first over ever in T20 on Wednesday night. So I'll be surprised if he bowls this evening. There's Hunt is in again, bowls and slammed away by Pepper. That's a good bit of fielding in front of the Spain Cup Pavilion. And actually well recovered by Tom Alsop. It was hit very firmly. He was diving around the boundary, was Tom Alsop, and he managed to stop the ball and prevent it going over the road. But not before they'd come back. Did they come back for a second run there? Did it go over the ropes? No, it didn't.
No,
Well done, Tom.
he managed to, even though he spilt it, he managed to spill it to his right-hand side rather than behind him. So Essex...
10 off the over, I made that. 62 for 1. Michael Pepper on 42. And
Charlie Allison is still playing that cameo role with 6 from 8.
Yes.
But Essex won't necessarily mind that. There's been some good running between the wickets from this pair as well. Briggs is going to continue 7 from the first over that he bowled. And it will be Pepper who is on 42 to face. As Briggs is in, he goes for the reverse sweep away for 4. Does Pepper pace on that one? Decided early what he wanted to do with it and got it away to the boundary. 66 for 1, Pepper onto 46.
Very good shot, wasn't it? Actually, I was wrong. July the 13th is his birthday, John Simpson. I thought it was the 3rd, but it's the 13th.
Oh, he's got a few days left.
Yeah. So at least he wasn't on his birthday that he dropped the catch.
There'll definitely be some kind of rule about buying the drinks or some kind of forfeit, wouldn't there?
Definitely. definitely. I mean, it went up a long, long way, but I just think at this level that should have been taken. But he's still there, and he's made the most of it.
Pepper waits. Briggs is in around the wicket, and he delicately just turns that one into the leg side for a single. Gets himself off strike. Pepper onto 47, Essex onto 67. Run rate currently 9.14 for Essex. Still bathed in sunshine here at Hove. Charlie Allison on strike. Briggs is into him, and that one is pushed out into the offside, but straight to the fielder for no run. Essex having won the toss and elected to bat first. Briggs in again on the back foot. Allison's gone high up in the air. Briggs is chasing this one, but he just stumbles. It's going to drop between him and the fielder coming in off the boundary. So another lifeline for Essex. Not a chance on that occasion that went to the hands of a fielder, but Briggs was going away, chasing it behind him, and a player coming in off the long on boundary as well. In the end, Essex scrambled through for a single.
That kind of sums up Sussex's season.
Briggs into Pepper. He's gone over the infield. There is a player out in the deep. It's caught this time. Coming in off the boundary to take the catch of Michael Pepper, who'll miss out on a half century. And Essex lose a second wicket in the 8th over. And it's Carson, I think it is.
Ollie Carter.
Ollie Carter takes the catch in the deep. And Essex lose their second wicket. Michael Pepper goes for 47.
Well, probably the most relieved man in the ground will probably be John Simpson, having put down that chance when he was on 23. But a good catch, actually, by Ollie Carter, because he's fielding on that side of the ground where you're almost looking directly into the sun. And he came charging in from the deep backward point boundary and took a good running catch. So breakthrough for Sussex, which was starting to get needed. Just talking about totals that Essex may be looking at here tonight. I mean, last week, Victoria, very similar conditions. Sussex made 171 in 19.3 overs, and Surrey raced home in 15 overs. So, I think you are looking on a night like this, certainly, 180 plus, I would have thought.
I think Essex will be hoping then that their middle order can be reliable as Briggs is into the new man Benkenstein, who whips that one back past the tumbling bowler to get off the mark with a single. Long off comes in to field it. So there were 7 runs from the over. The wicket came as well. Essex 69 for 2 after 8.
And you're listening to live cricket here on the BBC. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Victoria Polly on the most glorious evening at Hove. There's literally not a cloud in the sky. A full house, pretty much. There are a few spare seats around. The floodlights are on. And we've got a change in bowling from the C end. And it's going to be Jack Carson who's going to come in to bowl his off spin. As I say, from the C end of the ground, he'll be bowling up the hill. 4 men inside the circle, 2 on the off, 2 on the leg side. There's a long off and a long on. Henry Crocombe on long on duties, literally in front of our commentary box here. As we look out, as Jack Carson in his all in blue comes in and bowls, clipped away by Benkenstein out towards deep square leg, fielded up there by Harrison Ward, who gets in the throw. 1 to the total. Allison on 7, Benkenstein on 2. Who can the Sussex support expect to see teeing off here, Victoria?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Both have been in good form in the T20 Blast, and actually they've put on a really good partnership together in the game against Middlesex.
Carson bowls, played firmly onto the leg side. Crocombe is like a hair around the outfield. That's a good bit of fielding. Very good bit of fielding. Relay fielding between Ollie Carter and Henry Crocombe. It was a diving stop by Carter, and Crocombe got the ball. I thought for one awful moment they were going to collide, actually, but in the end, Carter made a good stop. But not before Allison picks up a couple. He goes to 9. Carson in again, round the wicket, bowls, and this time played straight down the ground. And Henry Crocombe comes running into field. It's another single, and Allison goes into double figures. He's on 10, 73 for 2.
Yeah, good friends, these two. They were both part of the England under-19s squad a couple of seasons ago, so they've sort of come through into senior cricket together.
Beaconston waits, has pulled away from the leg side. Now, this could be caught. It could be another catch for Ollie Carter. Oh, he's put it down, and it's run away for 4. That's the second chance Sussex have put down. That was a far more straightforward chance. It was pulled by Benckenstein. It was virtually straight to Ollie Carter on that deep mid-wicket boundary. I thought he'd got it. The ball popped out. I mean, he has got the sun to contend with, but I think he felt he should have caught that. He got into a good position. It was just above his head. He couldn't hang on. And the ball's dropped over the ropes for 4 runs. Carson in again. Bowls to Benckenstein, who's had a life. Clipped onto the onside, fielded by Henry Crocombe. So that life coming when Benckenstein was just on 2. And the score was on 73. And that chance went down. How expensive will that prove? 78 for 2. Carson around the wicket bowls, and a nice shot glided away through backward point. Just a single though to Allison. He goes to 11 at the end of that Jack Carson over, and over that cost. I didn't make a note of the score at 8 overs, which was a bit sloppy.
61 for 69 for 2.
69 for 2. Thanks.
So 10
10
off
off
the
the
over,
over.
yeah.
Thank you very much. So I think Carson really should have taken that chance.
Yeah, and I think Essex, it'd be interesting to see whether they adjust anything with the couple of lifelines that they've had, and I think you would be disappointed if they lost the 3rd wicket in that manner, as Briggs is into Allison, who's playing into the offside towards the long off boundary for a single. Just things have slowed down since the departure of Michael Pepper for 47. Run rate for Essex just dropping into the 8s. And then Benckenstein on strike as Briggs is in, and he's slapped that one towards the long on boundary for a single, picked out the fielder. So Essex bar that drop catch, which ended up in a boundary. Essex just struggling to place their shots at the moment and find those gaps. Looking to rebuild as Briggs is into Allison, who was swinging, and Simpson takes the catch behind the stump. Well, not the catch, but he takes the ball behind the stumps.
Tidiness from Daddy Briggs. This is his 3rd over. He conceded 14 in his first 2.
And he comes to Allison, who just playing again into the deep long off boundary. Fielder out there picks up just a single to the score for Essex. So they're keeping the strike rotating, but finding it hard to pick out the boundaries at the moment. 82 for 2 with 2 balls of the 10th to come. Briggs into Benckenstein, digs that one out into the offside, but it's fielded in the covers for no run.
Yeah, well, Sussex will be pleased with the way this over has gone. It's a 3 off it so far.
Briggs in again to Benckenstein, turns that one towards deep mid-wicket, where it's again fielded for a single. So the end of the over, 4 singles from it. Essex 83 for 2 at the halfway stage.
Yeah, Danny Briggs has now bowled his 3 overs and has taken 1 for 18. So he's only got 1 more to bowl. Jack Carson is going to carry on bowling his off spin from the C end of the ground. Someone's tapping in the crowd over here. It's making everybody very excited. I think they might be throwing some merchandise or whatever into the crowd. Anyway, in comes Jack Carson. Everyone's enjoying themselves. Carson is in. Round the wicket bowls. That's wide outside the off stump. As he delivers that bowl to Luke Benckenstein, who lets it go outside the off stump. There's a lot of excitement down there. I'm not sure quite what's going on. The umpire has a quick look, Ian Blackwell. As in comes Carson again, bowls. Benckenstein is just content just to drill that ball down the ground. I just wonder whether Essex have had a look at this pitch and have got their own sort of target in mind of what they think is a good score, because they're very happy to push the 1s and the 2s here, particularly against the spinners.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether they look to accelerate. If they can keep these 2 together, you would expect so.
Casting bowls, drilled away down to long off. Sean Hunt is very quickly round on the. Is that Sean Hunt? No, it's Harrison Ward. gets in the throw, one more to the total, 86 for 2. Allison on 14. Benkenstein is on 10. And Jack Carson in again, bowls to Benkenstein, who plays this one firmly down the ground. And it's Henry Croker who trots in from just down beneath our commentary position and field. So 3 singles following the first ball that Jack Carson bowled that was wide. Carson just surveys that leg side boundary as Carson just checked he's got his fielders in the right place. Did and bowls and pulled away onto the leg side. That's a good shot by Allison. That's really well played. It was a little too short from Jack Carson. Henry Crocombe is down here at long on. There's a fielder at a deepish mid wicket. It was directly between the pair of them. They absolutely raced away for 4 runs. Essex go to 91 for 2. Benkenstein is on to 11. Carson waits. Is in again, bowls, gives that plenty of air, and it drifts away outside of the off stump, and it's a second wide of the over. I think he's just trying to compensate there, Jack Carson. He doesn't want to give Benkenstein the chance to hit with the spin towards this leg side boundary. Just pushing that one a little too far wide of the off stump. Carson in again, bowls. Benkenstein drills that one onto the onside. Henry Crocombe, who's very quick across the ground, is in and fields. It's just a single.
You can just see the difference, can't you, with when they are finding the gaps, when they're making that proper connection with the ball, the pace that is moving across the outfield compared to those ones where they're not quite timed and they're just rolling straight to the fielder.
Yeah. Carson in again, bowls, and just clipped onto the onside by Benkenstein. This time he picks up a single to finish the over. So tidy enough from Jack Carson, but just those 2 wides in the over means that there was 11 off the over. 11 overs gone, 94 for 2 here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC. Are you BBC Radio Essex or BBC
No,
Essex?
we're just BBC Essex. I know, we have to be different, don't we?
We do. Allison on 19. Benkenstein is on 12. The 2 men out, Paul Walter, who was out 12, caught and bowled by Tamal Mills. And Michael Pepper, 47 of just 29 balls, including 6 fours. And 2 sixes before he was caught by Ollie Carter on the leg side boundary of the bowling of Danny Briggs for 47.
It's nice of you to ask though, Adrian, because quite often I'll sit with one of our colleagues from across the country and I'll be too polite to tell them that we're not BBC Radio Essex, we're just BBC Essex. Henry Crocombe is going to bowl his second over of the game, 0 for 7 in the first. He is in to Benkenstein, who again just pushes that one up towards the long on boundary for a single. 95 for 2.
Well, he's certainly juggling his bowling around here, Tamal Mills, isn't he? I mean, Henry Crocombe, as you say, started off from the sea, and now he's bowling down the hill. But they've only got really the 5 bowlers. Tom Alsop bowled the other night at Warwickshire, but that's the first time ever. So he's got a lot of options.
Still lively in the crowd here at Hove as Crocombe is in, and that one just hits Allison on top of his thigh and drops into the pitch.
Well, it's pretty packed in that stand, isn't it? I mean, there's not too many seats.
Yeah, it looks like there's some youngsters running around excitedly.
Well, it's just the perfect night, isn't it? I mean, these sort of nights are made for T20, really. I mean, if you own one of these flats, which I could never afford, it's very nice.
Some people on the roof up there.
Yeah, and sitting on the balconies and having a drink and watching the cricket. Very
There's a right party going on the top balcony as well, as Crocombe just pulls out of his run-up and will turn back on his mark. Cool, yeah, there must be at least about 10, 15 people up there.
There is, yeah, there is a bit of a party. I think Henry Crocombe got something in his eye then, Victoria.
Yeah, something flew and he rubbed his eye as he pulled out of his run-up.
That's just a great view, though, isn't it? I mean, back in the day, they used to have concerts here as well. You'd have a brilliant view if there was a concert here.
Get the sound as well, wouldn't you? Yeah. From up there. Crocombe is in. Allison just moving across his stumps to play that one into the leg side. They'll just take the single, keeping things calm in the middle. The Essex pair, Allison on 20, Benkenstein on 13, Essex 96 for 2.
That's a good bit of fielding. I think that's Harrison Ward all the way out there, who was very quickly in and a very acrobatic throw. There we are. They're just showing on our monitor here the party that's going on. You're right, there's about 15 to 20 people up there.
Is that all one flat?
Wow. It looks like the penthouse, doesn't it?
Yeah. Crocombe is in. Benkenstein is playing uppishly into the offside for 2. Come back, good running between the pair. Benkenstein with his bright orange trainers on, easy to pick out, running between the wickets and often fielding in the deep as well. So something to identify him by as Essex move on to 98 for 2. Benkenstein on to 15.
Yeah, I mean, they're picking up the 1s and 2s. The boundaries have become a little harder to come by, haven't they, in the last... I mean, there was off that previous over from Castle, but the ball isn't sort of flying around the ground at the moment.
Crocombe in over the wicket, and that one is up in the air, and it falls just under the fielder who was coming to try and take the catch from mid-off. It almost just dropped underneath, and they'll get a single.
I think, yeah, it's Tamal Mills. I thought for a moment that had carried to Tamal. Just showing the replay, maybe it was just short. It's one of those, you go for it or do you wait for it to bounce? But either way, it went underneath his body.
99 for 2. Crocombe in. Benkenstein, he's bowled him. Off stump, out the ground. And it's Allison, actually, isn't it? Because they took the single from the last ball. But Allison has been bowled for 20. Essex lose a 3rd wicket. They're 99 for 3 after 12.
Well, it's a quick delivery by Henry Crocombe, who is... I mean, would you say Tamal Mills? I guess Tamal, when he's bowling his rockets, is probably the quickest, but Henry Crocombe's not far behind these days. And that's a good piece of bowling, right up in the block hole, and Charlie Allison playing really across the line and losing, if he lost his leg stump. By the way, a stump knocked out of the ground, a chance for some drinks to be bought on. This is quite evenly poised, isn't it? I mean, 99 for 3, we're in the, is that the 12th over finished?
Yes, that was the end of the over, yeah.
Yeah, so just 5 runs off that over from Henry Crocombe, who's got a good little spell here. But I look down this all, there's still plenty of batting to come for Essex. And is it going to be Matt Critchley? Yes, it is.
Yeah, Matt Critchley coming to the middle, but these have been the times in this competition when Essex have been squeezed and they've lost quick wickets, and you have felt that maybe they've left runs out there at times, so they'll be looking to someone like Critchley and Benkenstein, who's out there on 16, to just consolidate. They're sort of lacking that all-rounder position at the moment.
Carson in bowls, hammered down the ground, well, that's 6 runs. That's just belted down the ground by Benkenstein, and that's gone all the way for 6 runs. So having said that the boundaries are finding a little harder to come by, Essex might just feel they need to accelerate a little here, as a big blow straight down the ground off the off-spinner. Benkenstein goes to 22 of 16 deliveries, 105 for 3. Good shot. Yeah,
both of these similar players, I say they're lacking that all-rounder in the likes of the big hitting Noah Thane or Vian Mulder, who's overseas, but both of these are leg spinning batters as well, and are capable of that.
Carson in bowls. Benkenstein again doesn't quite time this, but Henry Crocombe, who's very quick across the floor, picks up a single. Just Benkenstein, he goes to 23. Essex to 106 for 3. Matt Critchley's another player who always seems to get runs against Sussex. So we see how he goes this evening. No doubt we'll see him bowling his leg spin a little later on. But for the time being, he's got to face the off-spin of Jack Carson, who's in around the wicket. Bowls and plays slightly cross-battedly Critchley, but picks up a single as again Crocombe, who's been kept very busy down here at log on, drops in and fields. Critchley on 1, Benkenstein 23, Essex 107 for 3. We're in the 13th of the 20 overs here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Essex. Adrian Harms and Victoria Polly on commentary duties tonight as Carter's in bowls. A quick delivery and turned onto the onside by Benkenstein. They'd think about coming back for a second. It wasn't there because Crocombe is very quickly and athletically in and fields. Benkenstein goes to 24. Critchley on 1, 108 for 3. Carson just waits for Crocombe to get back to his fielding position, which is just 4 or 5 yards inside the boundary here at log on. Carson in bowls and drilled by Critchley, and again, it's no one else is playing at the minute. It's just Carson, Crocombe, and whoever's batting at the far end. Henry Croker looks a bit worn out, actually. He's got his hands on his knees down below us.
Well, he's had to bowl at the other end. He bowled that delivery that's taken the wicket, and then he's been called into action almost every ball for fielding.
109 for 3. Casting in bowls, drilled down the ground. This time the ball goes in the other direction and is fielded down in front of us by George Thomas, who gets in the throw. So the end of Jack Carson's over, tidy enough with the exception of the 6. So at the end of the 13th over, there were 11 runs off of that. Essex are 110 for 3. Critchley on 2, Beaconston on 25. Lots of people enjoying a beer around the ground. I can see the bars are full. People just enjoying the Friday night of the cricket. And this is kind of what it's like at Chelmsford, really, isn't it? On a Friday night when you get a nice sunny evening. People obviously come to watch the cricket, but it's a bit of a social as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's similar kind of vibes, aren't they? I think maybe that's why we, well, I won't speak for you, Adrian, but why we like the fixture between the two, because you get the similar feeling between them, and particularly they're often Friday nights as well.
Yeah.
So absolutely, why not? A big weekend for cricket. England women in the World Cup final on Sunday against Australia. 110 for 3 after 13. Hunt is bowling. This is his 4th over. That one is played into the leg side by Benkenstein to get the first ball of the over away for a single.
The only trouble is, Victoria, that when you come to us and when we come to you, we've got to go through the Dartford tunnel over the bridge, which is just almost seems to be a complete nightmare.
Yeah.
Particularly on a Friday. But hey, we're here. That's the main thing.
Worth it to watch cricket in the sunshine.
Yeah.
As Hunt is on his way into Critchley, who's up on the toes and playing that one behind square for a single.
I'm just sort of wondering here whether Essex have looked at this pitch, and maybe it's not as good a pitch. I don't know if it's the same one as they used against Surrey last week, which is an absolute belter. It's still a good pitch, but I just wonder whether Essex have looked at this and thought, maybe 180 might be a good score.
Well, I was wondering that if we think back to the dismissal of Paul Walter in the second over, the way it just sort of, the ball kind of maybe stopped on him a bit as Hunt is in. Oh, that's up in the air from Benkenstein. There's 2 fielders coming in. Is one of them going to get there? Yes, he is. It went a long way up again. Spent a long time in the air, and Harrison Ward manages to get underneath it, coming in from the long on boundary, and Essex lose a 4th wicket. They're 112 for 4, and Sean Hunt gets his first of the game.
That was a good catch, actually, considering the others that have gone down tonight. It's gone high, and he's had to come in a long way. He's keeping his eye on the ball. That's a good catch. That is a good catch by Harrison Ward. So, 4th wicket goes down.
Benkenstein goes 26 from 19.
Yeah, and he was kind of the batter who was set, wasn't he?
And Simon Fernandez will come out. So we've seen Simon Fernandez. I mentioned him earlier. He can wicket keep, but with Essex having Michael Pepper, and then when they've had Jordan Cox in the side as well, he's sort of 3rd choice wicket keeper. So he's in really for his batting, but we've been seeing him bat around about 8 or 9. So this is a chance for him to move further up the order with no Noah Thane and Essex having Mackenzie Jones and Sam Cook as part of the side tonight. Fernandez waits as Hunt is into the right-hander, who is clipping towards square leg for a single first up.
Yeah, because what we got after this, we've got 6 overs left. Run rate currently 8 and over, so 6 8s are 48. I mean, Essex at this rate are looking at around about 170 maybe. Something in that region.
Hunt, who's conceded 3 singles and taken a wicket in this over, into Critchley. He's playing up towards the long on boundary for a single. Another to the total. And Essex, not only will they be thinking about winning, that's the most important thing if they want to qualify for the next stages of this competition, but with how tight it is with those sides competing in the South Group, of course, the maths of net run rate comes into things.
Yeah,
not
definitely.
something I particularly enjoy trying to work out, Adrian.
I've got no idea.
As the Hunt is in, shorter ball, which is pulled away by Fernandez. Not time though, and fielded on the deep mid-wicket boundary for a single. End of the over. and Essex are 115 for 4 after 14.
Well, it's a good over from Sean Hunt. Just the 5 runs coming off of it. So 6 overs to go. I was looking where Sean Hunt is bowled. He's bowled out now, Sean Hunt. So 4 overs, 1 for 40. Tamal Mills has got 2 to bowl. Henry Crocombe's got 2 to bowl. Danny Briggs and Jack Carson, the spinners, have got 1 apiece. So I can't believe they're going to bowl anybody else. I just wonder if it hasn't been quite as easy to time as it was here last Friday night, here against Surrey. But Essex winning that toss, electing to bat. And they clearly want to have the runs on the board. So, Jack Carson is going to come in to bowl to Fernandez, who's drilling this one down the ground here to Henry Crocombe, who's been kept very busy off the bowling of Jack Carson. Fernandez goes to 2. Essex to 115 for 4 as the shadows start to encroach over the outfield from this Spencama Pavilion side of the ground. Carson in again, bowls, and Critchley dabs that onto the onside. Just going to be a single fielded by Ollie Carter, who comes in and completes the fielding duties. 117 for 4.
My criticism would be, and maybe it won't be fair to criticise until we've seen Sussex bat on the pitch as well, but Essex getting starts, but no one's yet to reach a half century. You feel you need a big score.
Casting bowls, pulled away. Well, that's a big hit. Is that going to be caught? Oh, well, I'm presuming that's he's just waiting to make sure that that is a valid catch. And I think he's fully entitled to wait, is Fernandez, and he's decided he's gone, and it's a catch out there on the boundary edge. I think, again, that was Harrison Ward, or was it George Thomas? Let's just wait and see who's credited with the catch. It was pulled away, backward of square. It was Ward again, who's taken his second catch. So he pushed the ball up into the air because he was in danger of going over the rope, and has taken the catch. That's a good catch by Harrison Ward. We'll see this again on the replay. He's pulled away onto the leg side. Ward is back. He sort of catches the ball, pushes it up in the air, steps back over the boundary rope, steps back in. That's good cricket. That's a good catch by Harrison Ward. His second in a row, and Essex have lost their 5th wicket, and just slightly in danger here. Essex are falling below what's going to be a good total.
Yeah, I think they've got to go for these boundaries now, haven't they? But at the same time, he's picked out Ward, and that's, like you say, good cricket there, because it's not easy to do. It maybe looks easier than it is, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
To keep your balance and make sure your foot's the right side of the rope.
The new man in is Simon Harmer, who he has trouble timing that first ball, plays it to short extra cover, and there is no run. Just say there was a women's game here earlier on today that the Sussex Sharks won. I'm not sure if this is the same pitch. It probably is, as in comes Carson, bowls and drilled down the ground by Harmer. Picks up a single fielded down here by Henry Crocombe. 1 more to the total. I was saying earlier on, I thought 200 on a good night like tonight, but the way it's going, Essex might feel something around the 160 mark might be a decent score. We shall see. Carson, last ball of his over, in and bowls and turns onto the onside by Critchley. He picks up a single, so a good over by Jack Carson, an over that just cost 4 runs, at the end of which Essex are 119 for 5, Critchley on 6, and skipper Simon Harmer on 1.
And these are 2 experienced players for Essex at the crease. Simon Harmer has been averaging well with the bat in, both the Championship and the T20 blast. In the blast, he's averaging 41.5, and he's spoken about the experienced players needing to take responsibility and step up. They have seen good performances from the youngsters in the likes of Charlie Allison and Luke Benkenstein, but he's called on his experienced players like Matt Critchley would be one of them to see Essex to these good results and stand them in good stead. Start of a new over. Tamal Mills back into the attack, and the bat is just hung out at that one by Critchley, pushing into the offside. They'll come through for a single. 120 for 5.
Just to say, Kent are 56 for 9.
Oh.
So it doesn't look like they're going to beat Worcester. So that's
And what did Worcestershire make?
142 for 7.
Oof.
So it looks like Kent are going down to defeat, barring a miracle. which is probably good news. Well, it is good news for Essex.
Well, yeah, but even more opportunity then for Essex with a result. That Kent looked to really, they had a really good start to the competition, didn't they? I thought they were going to be the team to beat. As Mills is in, bit of width on that one, which Harmer uses to play into the offside for just a single. 121 for 5, 2 singles to start the over. Still in single figures are the two men at the crease for Essex. Harmer is on 2, Critchley on 7.
Yes, that could be a big result. And tomorrow, Surrey in action, going well in this group. They're away at Gloucester, which is never easy.
No.
I think Gloucester having a decent campaign as well. So still all up for grabs. This could be a big night for Essex.
They need to accelerate here as Mills is into Critchley. He's playing that one along the ground into the offside. It's picked up in the deep for just a single.
Yeah, so just looking who's got left, Henry Crocombe's got 2 left to bowl. Mills has got 1 after this. Danny Briggs has got an over to bowl as well. So yeah, so 2 from Crocombe, 1 from Mills, 1 from Briggs, and this over to be finished by Tamal Mills.
Seagull just comes down from the roof in front of us and flies away as Mills is in. Yorker length, dug out by Harmer for a single. 123 for 5.
Yeah, but it's difficult to say here, isn't it? Because you'd have thought that Essex are going to certainly want more than... It doesn't look as if it's perhaps the easiest pitch to time on, so maybe they may think, 150, 160 may be defendable. But Sussex have bowled a lot better tonight than they have done in previous matches. There's no question about that.
How will Essex respond when it's their turn with the ball? But at the moment, they're trying to respond with the bats. 4 singles so far from this over. A shorter delivery is pulled away by Matt Critchley, and that's gone all the way for 6.
I need to stop saying how well Sussex have bowled, because every time I've said that, oh God, that was a good shot, wasn't it? When it was down the leg side and Critchley wasn't going to miss out.
Yeah, it was a flat 6 pulled away by Matt Critchley, who's on to 14. Essex 129 for 5.
You have to be a bit careful. You have to watch the ball if you're a spectator here, Hove, like at Chelmsford actually, because the ball can disappear into the crowd very quickly.
Well, I'm just glad we're a bit more sheltered than we are at Chelmsford. After my recent experiences there.
Oh.
Mills is coming into Critchley, and that one is wide. It's Critchley trying to get low to it.
Tell me more.
In the championship game against Nottinghamshire, myself and Dave Bracegirdle in the box at Chelmsford, got the open windows.
Yeah.
Shane Snazer hit a 6, and I just could see it dipping towards our open window, and we both ducked, and it hit just the advertising hoarding just above where our window was open.
Whoa.
And I don't think I've ever gone quite as high pitched on commentary as I did, which so thankfully for me has been clipped up on the internet. As Tamal Mills is in, this one's pulled away by Critchley but not timed, and it will roll out into the deep on the leg side for a single to win the over. Essex 131 for 5 after 16.
Well, that was the best over that Essex have had for a while actually, and Sussex have bowled well in these middle overs. So 4 overs to go, as Victoria says, 131 for 5. Oh, I need to look at that then. I need to find that bit of commentary. Right, okay. Victoria, Essex v Nottinghamshire at Chelmsford.
Yeah, but I feel sort of vindicated that Dave was ducking as well. It wasn't that I was.
Well, he should have been the knight in shining armour.
Yeah,
and sort of caught the ball for you.
He got out of the way. It left me
right.
to defend for myself.
Oh,
but yeah, I'm pleased to be a bit more shielded tonight.
I'll pull his leg next time I send. Danny Briggs back into the attack. 3 overs, 1 for 18. He comes in around the wicket to bowl to Critchley, who turns it onto the onside and picks up a single. It'll only be the single because Ollie Carter is very quickly in from mid-wicket to field. Harmer on 3, Critchley on 16. I just wonder whether we might see some fireworks here from Simon Harmer. 3 overs to go after this one. Danny Briggs around the wicket, bowls, and Harmer looking to heave this one away down to long on, and he's played it to deep mid-wicket. Looks at the bottom of his bat. My sort of feeling is here that Essex have struggled to time the ball. It doesn't look as if it's, you can never tell till both sides have batted, but it does, it doesn't look desperately easy. Briggs in again, bowls to Critchley, who turns it onto the onside. Again, they'll just take the single. These relatively short boundaries at Hove, and the fielder's very quickly in to make sure there isn't a second run.
No, go on, finish, Andrew.
3 singles off the over, 134 for 5. Danny Briggs does get through his overs really quickly. And he's back in again. Bowls, reverse hit from Hartman. That's going to race away, but only a single. Fielding out there on that boundary edge is Tom Alsop, gets in the throw. Critchley on 17, Harmer on 5, 135 for 5.
And I guess it gives both Critchley and Harmer a good look at the pitch before they get a chance to bowl on it.
Briggs in again, bowls to Critchley, who's going to get a fortunate boundary here. That's a big, thick outside edge. But it's going to run away down to the third man boundary for 4 runs. Well, a welcome boundary for Essex because they've been in short supply in the last few overs. But he's edged it and it's gone virtually through where first slip will be and raced away down to the boundary edge. So 139 for 5, Critchley to 21 off 13 balls. Briggs in again, bowls, and Critchley dabs that onto the onside. Now they may think about 2 here because Crocom's going to come back. Oh, that's interesting in terms of how you can put pressure on fielders, because Henry Crocombe ran into field the ball, he missed it, and it enabled Simon Harmer, who was running to the danger end, to come back for a second run. So end of the over, an over that cost Danny Briggs 12 runs. Essex are 141 for 5. Danny Briggs is now bowled out. His 4 overs have gone for, just as my screen disappears, which isn't very helpful, 4 overs, 1 for 28. So 3 overs remaining. You'd imagine that 2 of them will be bowled by Henry Crocombe, who's going to bowl the next over from the Cromwell Road end, and the final over by the Sussex skipper, Tamel Mills. Jack Carson bowled out, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 36.
Yeah, Essex are struggling to time it and to find the boundaries, but still 10 off that over.
Yeah.
They're rotating the strike well, and they are risking those runs where they can. As Crocombe is in to Harmer, again sets off for a quick single as that one finds a gap in the leg side. There's no chance to come through for that second run on that occasion, though. 142 for 5.
Yeah, Tom Alsop very quick in the outfield. He covers a lot of ground very quickly. Oh. Just in some interesting news.
Oh, go on.
No, it's not cricket related.
Oh. I did see some interesting cricket related news earlier, though, which I'll mention in a moment. As Crocombe is in and Critchley's gone for the ramp. And he's got that away for 4 runs.
Not quite sure he managed to do that. I've seen this on a
we've
replay.
seen it. Yeah, he's gone for the ramp, but it's come off the edge of the bat.
Yes, it has.
And he hasn't executed that particularly well, but well enough that it's gone for a boundary, so you could argue he has executed it well, but it wasn't quite what he intended. Essex get a boundary though, 146 for 5, and Crocombe in discussions with his captain, and they're going to send fielder out onto that fine leg boundary where the ball has just ended up. Rishi Patel leaving Leicestershire at the end of the season. It's always that time of year, isn't it, where if you see players' contracts announced or players leaving, unless they've set to go to another county, you do wonder where they'll end up. As Crocombe is in, he's gone in the air. That is big.
That's huge.
Clipped away over the square leg boundary for 6 runs.
That's out the ground, I think, isn't it? Has that gone over the roof?
No, it's gone in the stand by the pavilion.
That's a big blow.
He's had to be patient, has Matt Critchley, so far for Essex. They've had to take the singles where they can, but with just over 2 overs to go here, Matt Critchley's decided he needs to do something about this for Essex, and he's taken them over the 150 mark. 152 for 5, Critchley on to 33.
Well, 11 off the over so far.
Crocombe is 1 for 23. He is in, and that one is along the ground this time into the leg side by Critchley for a single.
These are important runs.
There's a bit of chanting in the crowd. The sun is just dipping a bit lower, and is just behind the stand to our left. Is that the Sharks? Is that
Yeah,
Sharks
the left.
stand, you call
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I'm just looking at some of the people in the corporate area down here. The glass of wine or two down there looks very
Oh, they've
nice.
got their
Victoria.
fancy parasols as well.
Yeah,
there,
they
haven't
have.
to keep them nice and cool. Crocombe is over the wicket to Harmer again, full length delivery, which she's fielded on the boundary, well fielded out there in the deep by Danny Briggs, I think it is, as Essex come back for a couple of runs.
That was yeah. I'm not sure.
Or was it Allsop?
I think it's Tom Allsop out there,
yeah.
but he was.
I saw the four.
He's a long way away out there, but he's very, very quick, Tom Allsop. But this is a good over for Essex. What's this off now? 14 off the over. 155 for 5 and 2 overs still to go. Good partnership between these two, Victoria.
Yep, the experienced pair I mentioned. The Essex T20 captain Simon Harmer. Crocombe is into him. He hasn't timed that one, but it will fall just into a gap that allows them to come through for this single. And on the follow through, Crocombe comes across and gets it. So Essex take a single from the final delivery of the 18th over. They're 156 for 5.
Yeah, these two coming together when Fernandez was up with the scores on 117. So these two have added 39 in very quick time. That was after 14.3 overs. So 3 and a bit overs for those runs to come. Tamel Mills is going to bowl the penultimate over up the hill from the sea end. I only went, Victoria, because this is a headline from the Times. So you'd have thought it's reasonably accurate. He said England v Mexico game could be brought forward 6 hours over storm fears.
Oh, well, that would be good for everybody's bedtime, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's not good for me though. I'm at a music festival on Sunday.
Well, I'm just saying, not at the same one. We're not going together, but I'm also out at a music festival.
So actually, that's not good news. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, we'll wait and see whether that happens. It's cricket we're concentrating on as Tamel Mills is in and bowls hammered away. Is that going to be 6? Ollie Carter's underneath it. He can't get there. He was in the right place, the fielder. The ball sailed over his head for 6 runs, and this is a very good partnership between these two. Pulled away by Simon Harmer, 6 runs, and suddenly it's 162 for 5 with 11 balls remaining. But surely if it's brought forward 6 hours, that game would be baking hot, won't it, in Mexico at that time of day? So
what would that be? What would that be for us?
7 in the evening. Yeah. So over there, it's probably
prime.
Yeah,
peak sunshine.
Yeah, boiling hot, I should think. Anyway, Tamel Mills racing away from us. In and bowls, and Harmer is at it again, drilling the ball down the ground. George Thomas is around very quickly down here at long on. Prevents a second run being taken. Sends the throw to the far end to John Simpson. Harmer goes to 16, 163 for 5. This partnership is now worth 46. And it's come in just... When did that last wicket go down? 14.3 overs, almost exactly 4 overs. So these two have been rattling on at over 10 and over since they've come together. And all of a sudden, Essex will be thinking, 180 could be on the cards here.
Wasp is saying 182.
Oh, there we go. How do you know that?
Oh, it says it on the screen. I haven't worked it out.
Okay. Here comes Mills. Bowls, and they should be caught. Played into the offside, and the catch is taken. And it is the end of Matt Critchley. He's caught by Daniel Hughes, who came in from cover. A complete miscue from Critchley, who's gone for 34 off 18 deliveries. And the 6th wicket goes down. A welcome wicket for Sussex, because these two have certainly got a move on since they've come together.
Yeah, they played well together, have Matt Critchley and Simon Harmer. Some good shots from Matt Critchley, and you just felt they were getting into their flow, finding the boundaries, and they're taking those risks now, trying to work that score up. And Matt Critchley departs, but that brings Shane Snater to the crease, who had a really good end to the game on Wednesday when Essex looked like they weren't going to get anywhere near Surrey. A good partnership between him and Zum Akhtar. Big hitting there. Shane Snater with a few sixes, and really took Essex to within the eventual 7 runs that they got. So he's more than capable, but he's got to not only get himself set, but he's got to find a boundary quickly here for Essex.
7 off the over, 9 balls to go in this Essex innings. As in comes Tamel Mills, over the wicket bowls, and Snater's beaten outside the off stump. That was a pacey delivery by Tamel Mills through to John Simpson. And there is no run. A very good evening, wherever you're joining us from, here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Essex. Adrian Harms and Victoria Polly on commentary duty this evening, on a glorious evening on the south coast. Essex winning the toss, electing to bat first. Runs all the way down the order, but no one, as Victoria is saying, has made a major innings. Michael Pepper, the top scorer, with 47. But the skipper, Simon Harmer, is still there. He's 16 not out, but he's not on strike as Tamal Mills runs away from us, coming into bowl to Slater, and Slater hammers that one away. That's gone many a mile. That's going to clear Ollie Carter. That's the second six of the over. Victoria was saying he was in good form the other night, and just his second ball, he's heaved that one away over Carroll Corner for 6 runs. And Essex go to 169 for 6.
Yeah, that was a monster. He's just stretching out the hamstrings, still warming up his Shane Snater out there.
That's a big blow. So, final ball of Tamal Mills' spell. A reorganisation of the field. But you need a stepladder to have got that one. That was the fielder down there, Ollie Carter, he's just shielding his eyes against the sun, which is starting to set away to our left-hand side in the west. Is Tamal Mills with a skip and a jump, runs away from us, up the hill, comes into bowl to Slater, who is, well, there we are, that's T20 cricket for you. Tamal Mills looks to the sky as if to say, what do you do, really? Because he's heaved that one away. It's come off a thick outside edge. It's sailed away over short third man and run away for 4 runs. So good over for Essex. They've lost a wicket, but 173 for 6. There were, Victoria, 17 off that over?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 sixes, a 4 and a single, and all of a sudden Essex, having looked as if they might have settled for 160, maybe max 170, will have their eyes on 180 plus here perhaps.
Yeah, the captain Simon Harm will certainly be thinking that. He'll also be thinking about turning his attention to matters with the ball as well for Essex. What could they put on the board for Sussex to try and chase down here at Hove? It'll be Crocombe to bowl the final over. He's into Harmer, and that's a wide ball.
That's not a great start. Sussex.
174 for 6.
Well, we'll see how, have we called this pitch correctly? We thought it was a little difficult to time the ball, certainly off the spinners.
Crocombe into Harmer. Oh! And an edge on that. That's another massive 6 into the leg side, away over the deep mid-wicket boundary. That's either ended up in the top tier or out of the sand. Top tier. It's gone. But Essex now onto 180, and this is certainly looking much healthier after those middle overs that were really well bowled by Sussex and saw Essex lose their middle order wickets. But Harmer has moved on to 22 from 12. And still got plenty of deliveries in this final over. As Crocombe is in, Harmer's gone up in the air. It's over the fielder down at third man, and it runs away to the boundary for 4.
Well, when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. And Simon Harmer chancing his arm, big thick outside edge. Danny Briggs was backpedaling on the end of the circle, but he couldn't get there. Well, 11 runs off this over so far. We've still got 4 balls to go, Victoria. Just looking here, when the 5th wicket went down, Essex were 117 for 5 after 14.3 overs. So they've got best part of 70 runs in the last 5 overs.
Crocombe in, shorter ball, which Harmer gets a bit of an edge on, and away it bounces towards the fine leg boundary for 4 runs. Well, I think he was in 2 minds about whether to duck out of that, but he just flicks the bat up and it gets enough on it that the pace of the ball takes it away for a couple of bounces and 4.
Wow. So what's that? 6, 10, 14, 15 off the over so far, and still 3 balls to go.
188 for 6. Harmer now on to 30 from 14.
This is a good score now, Victoria.
Crocombe into Harmer. He's gone again. 6 this time into the leg side between the fielders out at deep backward square and deep mid wicket. He's bisected them and Simon Harmer is enjoying himself with the bat out there for Essex and has moved them on to 194 for 6, which at 117 for 5, I must admit I wasn't thinking was a possibility for Essex.
Well, he's 36 off 15, Simon Harmer. This is extraordinary. And this is proving a very expensive final over.
Crocombe is into Harmer. He's gone again. Has he got enough on it?
Yep.
6 again, over deep mid-wicket.
Well, fair play to Simon. I mean, this
200 up.
What an exhibition of hitting this is. Yeah, I mean, this is just remarkable. That's gone many a mile.
Well, we've debated how easy this pitch is to bat on. Essex struggling to time the ball at points of this innings. Simon Harmer's found a way. He's on to 42, and we've got one delivery left, and I think we're going to need a new ball for it.
22, 20. I think that's 27 off the over so far.
1 for 54. That's rather ruined Henry Crocombe's figures.
Whoa, yeah. So I'm just looking at this. It was 14.3 overs. So with 5.3 overs to go, Essex had 117 for 5, and they've now got 200. So they've scored 83 in 5 and a bit overs.
What can they do with the final delivery? Crocombe into Harmer, and he's lofted that one back over the bowler. That should go for 4 to finish the innings for Essex. So Harmer will finish on 46. Essex will finish on 204. And a great end to their innings lifts that total to a really competitive score here at Hove. And they have set Sussex 205 to win.
Well, I think the crowd are absolutely stunned, but you've got to give credit to Simon Harmer. I mean, that is a magnificent innings, and that over of Henry Crocombe, by my reckoning, Essex finished, 204? I think that over cost 31. 31 off the last over from Henry Crocombe. As you say, it's rather made a mess of his figures. 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 58 for Henry Crocombe. So Essex, who were at one stage, let's just get these stats absolutely right, they were 117 for 5 with 5.3 overs left. So off of the final 5.3 overs, they've scored 87 runs. So there's about 18 and over for the last 5 overs. So I'm afraid Sussex have rather lost the plot there. And that now looks a very, very competitive score. I said 200 when we set off. I think the pitch is a bit trickier than that, to be honest. But Simon Harmer, what a knock that is.
And that's excellent work from the Essex captain with the bats, and he was very quickly back in and over to his side for a chat, and we'll see if Essex can defend that total with the ball. Remember, they've got Sam Cook back in the side for the first time this season in the T20 Blast. He fractured his wrist ahead of the first match of the campaign and has been missing since the middle of May, but he returns to the squad tonight. We'll get to see Mackenzie Jones for the first time this season for Essex in the T20 as well. He's been playing T20 internationals with Scotland, but hasn't featured so far for the Eagles this campaign. So he's in the side in place of Charlie Bennett. The other options for Essex with the ball, Zum Akhtar, Shane Snater, and then there's the spin options of Harmer, and then the leg spin of Critchley and Benkenstein as well. Can they defend 204 for 6, which is how they finish up?
Well, we shall find out. Victoria and I are going to have a cup of tea, see if there's any cake, which may or may not happen, I don't know. But just to say, more good news for Essex is that Kent were bowled out for 59 at Worcester. So Worcester making 142 for 7, Kent bowled out for 59. The relevance of that for Essex in particular is that Essex and Kent are level on points on 16 points in the table. So that makes today even a bigger deal as far as Essex are concerned. So we're all going to recover from that final over that went for 31 from Henry Crocombe. Simon Harmer finishing 46 not out. I didn't see how many balls that was in, Victoria. It was something crazy like
Harmer 17,
46 of 17 deliveries, and in those 46 he hit 4 sixes, and they were big sixes as well. So skipper doing his bit. What can Sussex do? The batting has not been great for Sussex, much as ever will depend on Daniel Hughes, but we shall see. We'll have a cup of tea and back with you shortly.
Meet Isla, your AI receptionist who never takes a break. Isla answers every call, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Handles frequently asked questions using your business knowledge. Takes bookings and appointment requests accurately. Captures messages and routes urgent calls to the right person. While Isla handles the calls, you handle what you do best. The best part? Isla works with your existing phone system and can be set up in under 48 hours. Request your free demo today. Isla, because if you're missing calls, you're missing business.
Weak website? It could be a superstar. We do A/B testing, personalization, social proof, product recommendations, baseline analysis to bring your bottom line over the line. Visit webtrends-optimize.com or call 0333 444 5502 today.
Everyday pleasures.
Well, welcome back as we are about to get underway for the Sussex innings here at Hove. It's Victoria Polly of BBC Essex with you alongside Adrian Harms from BBC Radio Sussex, with Sussex set 205 to win by Essex after an explosive end of the innings. Shane Snater will be bowling for Essex, is into Ward, and it's a wide ball to start things off. So one of those runs already off the deficit for Sussex, and the maths was a bit mind-boggling, wasn't it, really, Adrian, for us to work out?
My goodness, yeah, 87 runs in 5.3 overs. Apparently that over is the most costly in T20 cricket for Sussex, the second most costly. That's 31.
Snater in again to Ward, who pushes into the leg side for a single. Still got beautiful blue sky here at Hove. That sun is dipping right into our eye line, so squinting at the action in front of us. The floodlights are on, although they're not really having much of an effect at the moment, but everyone around the ground is either bathed in beautiful sunshine still, or looks like they're enjoying a little bit of a cool breeze in the shade. It actually looks like the breeze has picked up a little bit, but 2 without loss on the scoreboard for Sussex. There's a shorter delivery which is slapped into the offside and well fielded by Simon Harmer at mid-off for Essex.
He's such a good cricketer, isn't he?
Simon Harmer.
Well, he really, I mean, he's a big man, isn't he? I mean, he's not in the first flush of youth either, and he's, that's a good stop. That could easily have raced away down the slope for 4 runs.
I think I aged him last week when I was asked on commentary. I said 38. He's 37.
Right, okay.
As Snater is in, and this one is pushed away by Ward for another single. So these two at the top of the order for Sussex, Dan Hughes and Harrison Ward. It's fair to say the majority of the runs have come from this pair for Sussex.
Yeah, I mean, they've been excellent, and certainly until a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of games ago, Sussex had the best record in the power play of any of the counties, and these two have had a really good competition.
4 without loss, as Snater is into Hughes, who hits it back at the bowler, takes the pace out of it, does Snater with the hands, and he can turn it towards mid-off as the pair come through for a single.
Well, certainly early part of the competition, it was Daniel Hughes and Tom Clark who were opening, and then Tom Clark got injured, Harrison Ward's been in, and he's, the Sussex batting hasn't been good in this competition. You can't try and sugarcoat it, but these two have been very good. But no one's really played a big innings, and it needs someone tonight for Sussex to play a really big innings.
Snater coming around the wicket to the left-handed Ward.
Oh!
And that's gone over.
That's got a long way.
The leg side and away for 6 runs.
Well, he barely seemed to touch
couldn't
that.
pick that out anywhere.
I'll tell you what, you've had to be on your toes if you're sitting in the Spenkarma Pavilion today. That was beautiful timing, wasn't it? Well, the crowd come to watch 6s and 4s, and they're getting plenty of that tonight.
They are, and Ward is on to 8. Sussex 11 without loss. Snater in around the wicket again. That one is edged into the offside, and it's picked out a gap just wide of third, and it's going to be chased to the boundary. Paul Walter tumbling away to keep that one inside the rope as they'll come back for a couple of runs. So a good start to proceedings for Sussex, 14 without loss after the first over.
Yes, I was told by someone in the press box I would need to check this myself, but on the basis that generally the guys have got the time and they're checking the stats, that was the most expensive over for Sussex in T20 history, with the exception of an over that Mike Yardy here in a quarter-final against Northamptonshire, where David Willey got stuck into Mike Yardy. Apparently that went for 35. So Henry Crocombe has had a strange week. He's off to Surrey. And Simon Harmer took a liking to his bowling. However, Sussex needing 205 to win. Well, as Victoria says, off to a good start. If you've just joined us, thanks for tuning in to BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Essex. Adrian Harms, Victoria Polly, your commentary team, as running in down the hill comes Sam Cook, who pulled onto the leg side. It's going to be a wicket. That's a great catch. That's a really good catch. And Harrison Ward is on his way, and I'm indebted to Victoria, who tells me that Luke Benkenstein has taken the catch. It was short from Sam Cook. He's been out for a long time with this broken arm, pulled away by Ward, and that is a brilliant piece of field. He's come running in from the deep mid-wicket boundary. Cook is back into the Essex side, And you know what? He picks up a wicket with his first ball.
I don't think you can ask for a much better start to things than that, can you, for Sam Cook? He's been so missed by Essex. Don't get me wrong, those young bowlers who have been in the side, Charlie Bennett in particular, who's not playing tonight, has really stepped up in the absence of Sam Cook, but they've just missed his experience and his skill in these opening overs and in the death bowling as well. And that's a lot of ground as well for Luke Benkenstein to make up as well. It was always dipping. He had to get in from the boundary edge, and considering some of the catches we saw go down in the field from a Sussex point of view as well, Essex will be pleased to have held on to that first opportunity.
Well, that's a brilliant catch. I got to just say that Sam Cook, when I went to Chelmsford with Victoria, first match of the season, Sam Cook came into the commentary box. I'd never met him before, and what a lovely guy he is as well. Anyway, he's running down the hill from the Cromwell Road end and bowls, and Thomas is the newsman. George Thomas drives to mid on. Is my over, isn't it? Yes.
It is your over.
It is, sorry, yeah. I got sorry, it doesn't take much to get me confused. So George Thomas, who played his first match in the competition against Warwickshire this week. His brother Josh plays for Somerset. Made 15 up at Edgbaston in the week, but that's a big wicket. Harrison Ward going down. I mean, the big wicket here throughout this campaign has been that of Daniel Hughes for Sussex. The good news is he's still there, but in comes Cook. Over the wicket bowls to Thomas, who's wrapped on the 5-pad. The ball dribbles down onto the onside. There is no run. And you can see the Essex lads, actually, when that catch was taken, they were very pleased for Sam Cook. I would imagine he's a very popular member of the side. I can see the biscuits have arrived, actually. So
You're going to nip off?
Yeah, I am. At the end of it, I'm only going to get them because there's so many people in the press box tonight. They are going to disappear. So Isaac, thank you, Isaac. Isaac and Jack are operating the stream for Sussex and do a great job to the lads. And Isaac's done a good job of getting the biscuits, which, yeah, we'll make sure the press boys don't snaffle them all.
I might put some ideas in the Essex media.
Yeah, do. They're very good here. In comes Cook, bowls, and Thomas driving, gets a thick inside edge. The ball ends up at square leg, and Thomas is on his way with a single. 15 for 1 in the second over. Brings Daniel Hughes onto strike. If you just joined us, Essex finishing 204 for 6. Adding 87 in the last 5 and a bit overs, largely due to Simon Harmer, who was 46 not out off of just 17 deliveries, including 4 big sixes, and a last over that went for 31. Essex, at one stage, we were thinking 160 might be a good score. All of a sudden, this looks a very good score. 204 for 5 in there. As Cook comes in, bowls. Oh, and Hughes, no, he's dropped. He's dropped at short extra cover. It was driven away, and he's been dropped by...
Akhtar.
Is that Zaman Akhtar there? It was to his left-hand side. I think he'll be disappointed he's put that down, Victoria.
Yeah, it just looks like it comes off the edge of the fingers and ricochets into the ground as he dives away to his left to try and hold on to it. So they'll be disappointed that Sam Cook hasn't been picked up a second wicket in his first over. Cook
in bowls to Hughes, who pulls his way, but is he going to get caught? I think he is. Down below us. Catch is taken. Daniel Hughes goes. That's always a massive, massive blow for Sussex. Thank you again to Victoria, who points out it's Shane Slater who has taken the catch. So 2 wickets in the over for Sam Cook on his return. Both Sussex openers are back in the pavilion. And when Daniel Hughes is out, that is always a massive, massive blow for Sussex. Sam Cook celebrates, and Sussex already in all sorts of trouble here.
Yeah, Essex can't be much happier with that start from Sam Cook with the ball. I mentioned the difference it makes, and something that they've really struggled to do in the 2 games since the break from T20, the 2 games back, is take wickets in the power play. It was an improvement that we'd seen from them in the games that they won, those 4 games they won in a row, was taking 2 to 3 wickets in the power play and really putting their opposition under pressure. They didn't manage that against Northamptonshire away last Friday, and again on Wednesday. They didn't put enough pressure on what is a quality batting side in Surrey, but it can make such a difference, and Sam Cook will be really pleased with the ball and to take 2 wickets in his first over, and now Shane Slater will be wanting to get in on the action as well.
1 over, 2 for 1. Sam Cook, pretty good figures. And the 2 men who've been making the runs for Sussex are both back in the pavilion.
Snater went for 14 off his first over as he is into Thomas. That one's in the air. It's going to drop safely, but it's just going to plug in the outfield as they come back for a couple of runs. So it is Thomas and Simpson now at the crease for Sussex and looking to rebuild in just the third over after 2 wickets went down in the second. Harrison Ward caught by Luke Benkenstein for 11 and Dan Hughes caught by Shane Snater in the deep, both off the bowling of Sam Cook for Essex. Sussex 17 for 2 as Snater is on his way into Thomas. That one's edged out into the offside. It's well fielded on the bounce and it's a dot ball and there's taps and high fives in the field. Matt Critchley getting down to that one. Ooh, the biscuits have arrived. Come on, Sussex is the chant from the crowd as that sun dips lower in the sky. Snater is in. That's up in the air. That's gone high from Thomas. It might fall safely between two. Oh, that's a great catch from Luke Benkenstein, who got round to that one. He had a huge amount of ground to cover. It was high. And he comes round to the long on boundary to take the catch, does Luke Benkenstein. And Thomas now departs for Sussex, who in the third over are 17 for 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, Victoria, one of the old adages in cricket is hold your catches, win your matches. And already there have been 3. I mean, that is a magnificent catch. That really is a top quality catch. George Thomas driving the ball down the ground. Benkenstein had a long way to come. Also, he had the distraction of another fielder running towards him. He was. Yeah, and I thought for a minute, all crumbs, they're going to collide. But that is a magnificent catch. Very, very good indeed. And Sussex are in all sorts of trouble here. 17 for 3. They've already got a relatively long tail. That's without being disrespectful to numbers 8, 9, 10 and 11 for Sussex in this game. But already with Ward, Hughes and Thomas back in the pavilion, Sussex with an absolute mountain to climb.
And we were wondering how the pitch was out there, where Essex looked like they were struggling to time things. Sussex have tried to get off to a fast start here with that total that they need to make up, because you wouldn't expect Essex to give away 87 in the last 5 overs as Sussex did. So they've come out, they've tried to hit big, but they've been punished as Snater is into the new man Carter, which is played back towards Snater for no run. He just parried the ball there with his hand at Snater. It's a little bit of discomfort, but he'll be pleased to have got in on the action with a wicket.
Well, I mean, Ollie Carter hasn't played a huge amount of T20 cricket. I'm sort of looking, I mean, really, it's these two, Tom Alsop, who's next, and Jack Carstner, the recognised batters, really.
Snater into Carter, up on the toes, turned round the corner towards short fine leg, where it's fielded for a single.
I think everyone's slightly stunned, to be honest. But they were terrific catches, though. I mean, that catch from Benkenstein, I mean, but both the catches he's taken have been excellent. But really very good indeed.
Yeah, he is often stationed out in the deep for Essex, and we saw a catch similar to the one that was it Ollie Carter or Harrison Ward that took the one. We saw him take one similar to that in the game against Kent at Chelmsford, which was really impressive. But it's almost as impressive when you're on the run like that, as Snater is in. That's off the hip of Simpson into the leg side, fielded by Mackenzie Jones for a single. Jones, a tall figure, not quite as tall as Paul Walter out there, but you do have to just check twice when you see them both out there, and I don't expect it to be too long before we see Mackenzie Jones into the attack. But Essex have Sussex 19 for 3 after 3.
And you're listening to Live Cricket on the BBC. Adrian Harms, Victoria Polly here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Essex, live from Hove, where all of a sudden a flock of seagulls has just descended on the ground. There's about 20 seagulls flying around in the corporate hospitality area away to our right-hand side. But Essex all over Sussex here, making 204 for 6. And now Sussex with 3 down, and just the first 3 overs of the reply. Ollie Carter on 1, John Simpson on 1. Sussex have got a rebuilding job and some to be done here, but it's Sam Cook back in the Essex side and back in the wickets, running down the hill, over the wicket, bowls to John Simpson, who defends to mid-off, and there is no run. And John Simpson and the rest of the middle order will be very wary here that this is a long Sussex tail, and they probably can't afford to take too many risks at the moment. Shane Snater there is surrounded by
He's
seagulls.
got company, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Entertaining them all.
It's
They'll soon move when the ball flies his way.
They will, but there's suddenly loads of seagulls circling around the ground. Look at them all. This is bizarre. In comes Cook. Bowls, and Simpson is forward, plays to mid-wicket, and look at the Essex fielders, they're absolutely on their toes here. And actually, from an Essex point of view, Victoria, with this South group being so close, net run rate, as we were saying, really could come into it, not just in this group, but the two best sides who come third in the group will also qualify. And so you look at the other groups, and this will be a massive opportunity here for Essex to really up their net run rate. In comes Cook, racing in, bowls to Simpson, who cuts this one away, but only as far as backward point, and there is no run. 3 dot balls.
Yeah, so after tonight, Essex play Middlesex at Chelmsford on Sunday. They've also got Hampshire at home next Friday. And then the final game of the group stages is away at the Oval to face Surrey. Middlesex have had a poor T20 Blast campaign, so Essex will be eyeing that one. And if they could get a win over either Hampshire or Surrey.
Cook in, bowls to Simpson, who plays that to mid-wicket. Again, it's a dot ball. Well, this is a terrific over by Sam Cook. I'm indebted to Chris Adams, former Sussex cricket skipper, very much a legend in this part of the world. Chris, thanks for getting in touch. You points out that Luke Benkenstein is a former Seaford College pupil down here in Sussex, where Chris is, I think he's head of cricket.
Is he taking the credit then, is he?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe got to do some catching practice, Chris. He's been very good. In comes Cook, bowls. Simpson is forward. 5 dot balls in this over. And the total remains on 19 for 3. Well, you obviously taught him well, Chris, because the second catch was absolutely outstanding.
That's interesting, because I imagine he would have moved around quite a bit with his dad.
Yes.
Youngster.
Yeah. Well, it was just a brilliant piece of fielding. As you say, catches win matches. Cook, this could be a maiden over. Bowls to John Simpson. Indeed, it is a maiden over. Played down the onside, but it's not too often in T20 cricket that you get a maiden over. And Sam Cook has now bowled 2 overs, 1 maiden, and has taken 2 for 1 on his return to cricket. He's clearly a very popular member of this Essex side. Sussex in trouble. 19 for 3 at the end of the 4th over.
Yeah, there's just a shot of the crowd on the big screen. There's a little boy looking rather glum, having seen Sussex lose 3 wickets early on here, but they soon cheered up for the cameras and have given them a wave. Shane Snater is going to continue for Essex. 1 for 18 from the 2 that he's bowled. Carter waits as Snater is in. Full-length delivery, which is pushed up towards mid-on for no run.
And already the required run rate for Sussex is 11.8 and over. They're currently going up 4.6, so a mountain to climb. Not impossible, but someone's got to play a huge innings here for Sussex.
Yeah, then we would fancy that it needs to be one of these two to step up for Sussex, with Hughes, Ward and Thomas all but departing. Snater is in, big appeal from off the pad, look quite high on the short figure of Carter, who just walks away from his crease, wringing out his hand, readjusting the helmet.
We should mention it in the earlier match today. There was success for Sussex women, who beat Northamptonshire by 6 wickets earlier on today.
Still 19 for 3 as Snater is in. That one's turned around the corner from Carter, but again well fielded by short fine leg. And the dot ball ramps up the pressure further.
Well, that's 9 dot balls in succession. And I say with this relatively long tail that Sussex have got, but someone's going to have to play an innings and a half here.
Snater into Carter. He has managed to flick that one over to the long leg boundary for 4 runs, to some ironic cheers from the crowd. A much needed boundary from a Sussex point of view. Couple of bouncers away for 4.
And yeah, he did apparently look like he did 3 years at Seaford College. So there we are.
Craig's been in touch and says, I heard on the commentary the biscuits have arrived. Priorities, you better eat them fast.
Yeah, and they are bourbons as well, which
Classic.
are very nice. Yeah,
That's a classic with a cup of tea. Snater into Carter, who's moved on to 5, pushing through the offside. It will be fielded in the deep for a single, but it is runs on the board nonetheless for Sussex, who are 24 for 3 with 1 ball of the 5th to come.
Well, a welcome boundary for Sussex, as you say. Some ironic cheers around the ground with that boundary. But there's a big crowd here tonight, Victorians. You know, Sussex have got pride to play for in this competition. They haven't had a good time of it, and with a big crowd in, someone needs to put on a big show here.
In comes Snater, Yorker length delivery to Simpson, as that one is thrown in from Simon Harmer, but luckily it's backed up, otherwise there was overthrow opportunity there at the end of the 5th over. Sussex are 25 for 3.
As I say, live cricket here on BBC Radio Essex, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Holmes, Victoria Polly on commentary duties. Of course, the BBC covering all the matches in the T20 Blast. Sussex's next game looks a rather daunting one up at the Oval on Wednesday. Followed by a trip to Merchant Taylor's School, where they will play Middlesex next Friday. Then the campaign finishing up here against Hampshire on next Sunday. Sussex who can't qualify for the latter stages. That's not the case with Essex. It's going to be Sam Cook. I wonder whether Sam Cook's going to bowl right through here, Victoria. 2 overs, 2 for 1. As in comes Cook. Bowls to John Simpson. Could be another wicket. It's skewed into the outside to the offside. Catch is taken. Another wicket goes down. Extraordinary figures from Sam Cook. The catch is taken by Zum Akhtar. John Simpson has gone. And Sussex are rather falling in a heap here. They're 25 for 4. And Sam Cook with the quite extraordinary figures in any form of cricket. If it was championship cricket, but now 2.1 overs. He's taken 3 for 1, and he applauds because the catches that have been taken, he made that look very straightforward. But the Essex catching has been absolutely excellent. And there's a bit of a, well, not a bit of, there is a stunned silence around Hove.
I'm a bit stunned as well. I mean, I know what influence and what a key player Sam Cook can be for Essex, but the impact he's had with the first ball of his first over, the maiden in the second over he bowled, and then to take a wicket with his third as well. It's such an impact from an Essex point of view, and I'm going to be looking up his best T20 figures.
Well, he can't be far away. The new man in is Tom Alsop. Well, it will probably be one of the most remarkable T20 wins if Sussex could claw their way back from here. But much really depending on these two. Jack Carson is next in, and then it's really down to the bowlers, Briggs, Crocombe, Hunt and Mills. As in comes Sam Cook, 3 wickets to his name, bowls to Tom Alsop, who defends into the offside. And there is no run. So he's just conceded the 1 run in the 14 deliveries that he's bowled as Sam Cook.
His best T20 figures are 4 for 15.
Okay. Well, another wicket, and he's going to blow those apart. But it's been a tremendous spell of bowling, but well supported by some terrific fielding. In comes Cook again, bowls to Alsop, who's struck on the pad. Cook wheels around and appeals to umpire Blackwell, who says, no, that's not. Actually, I think, is that James Treadwell? Joe, I think the umpire should have their names on the back of their shirts or their jackets. The umpires tonight, James Treadwell and Ian Blackwell. But Sussex have run a leg by almost unnoticed. 26 for 4. Carter on 6. Alsop yet to score. Sam Cook, 3 wickets to his name. Runs towards us from the Cromwell Road, and he bowls to Ollie Carter, who plays that to mid-on, and Cook concedes just his 2nd run, fielded there by Simon Harmer at mid-on. And it was really Simon Harmer who took the game away from Sussex with an innings of 46 in 17 deliveries. 4 sixes and took the last over for 31. As we were saying, 87 coming off of the last 5 overs and 3 balls. Cook wheels around at the far end of the ground, running into bowl to Tom Alsop. Alsop clips this one away through backward square leg. They've taken one, they'll think about 2. There isn't a second there as the throw comes in. Not the greatest of throws, but backed up by Actor. And 1 more to the total. Alsop goes to 1. Carter on 7. Sussex 28 for 4. And this the 6th over. Sam Cook on his return from a broken arm. Did he sustain that in a match, or was it in the nets?
It was in training.
Yeah.
The ball hit back to him.
Cook in again, bowls to Carter. Carter turns that onto the onside. They've taken 1. He's looking for 2, is Ollie Carter. And that's good running. Comes back quickly for the second run. Just dabbed it onto the leg side. And Ollie Carter goes to 9. End of the 6th over. And the Sussex are 30 for 4. Carter on 9. Alsop is on 1. And Sam Cook's figures, which I shall give you in a moment. He has bowled 3 overs, 1 maiden, and he's taken 3 for 6.
So at the end of the power play, Sussex 30 for 4 at this stage of their innings. Essex were 52 for 1. Having lost Paul Walter in the second over of their innings. Michael Pepper was the top scorer with 47, but that was closely followed by Simon Harmer, who eventually went on to make 46 from 17. It was an explosive end to the innings for Essex, 87 from just over 5 overs. Shane Snater is going to continue, so we are going to see Essex go top heavy with these 2, you would think, but they have got the options of Akhtar and Jones, or they may well turn to spin as well. Snater's 1 for 24 from 3. As Alsop waits, Snater is in, and that one is dabbed into the leg side. It's fielded in close, no chance of a run. And Simon Harmer, the Essex captain, fielding down long off, just away to our right-hand side now. He'll be pleased with what he's seen after he put the work in with the bat. As Snater is in, that's flashed into the leg side by Alsop for just a single, as it's fielded in the deep. 31 for 4.
Just a reminder, I mean, Sussex not doing very well here, but Kent bundled out for just 59 at Worcester tonight. Which makes this actually even more important for Essex this evening in the South Group.
Carter waits. The Snater runs away from us, falls over the wicket, is played with a straight bat, and in comes Fernandez, who sort of parries the ball back towards the bowler with his legs. Sussex take the single, 32 for 4.
Well, it's very, very close in all the groups, apart from that that middle, the central and west group, they call it, Victoria, where Northamptonshire played 8-1-8, and you said how impressive they were last week against...
Runaway leaders, yeah. Not the catchiest of titles, is it? As Snater is in, and that one's pulled by Alsop, but it's not timed, and it will be fielded in the deep on the leg side by Charlie Allison for a single, 33 for 4.
Now, that is really unimaginative, isn't it? They could have done better than that, couldn't they? Central and West group. Northampton's top 8 wins from 8 games and a net run rate of 2.142, which is very good indeed. I would imagine they must have pretty much qualified already.
Snater into Carter. Pushing that one's fielded in close once again. Another dot ball. We've had 3 singles from the over so far.
But even the third place side in that group, who are Worcestershire, have got 20 points. If Essex win, they'll have 20 points. And in the North group, Lancashire are third. They've got 16 points. So, you know, Essex, even if they don't come first or second, could well come one of the best third place sides.
Carter waits, always lofted that one in the air back over the bowler, but again it doesn't get as much distance on it. It drops safely, and it will just be a single to the score. 34 for 4 after 7, so we've had 4 off the over.
So Sussex just desperately trying to rebuild and just trying to post some sort of a score here on another very disappointing night of T20 cricket. And I mean, the Sussex public have really got behind Sussex in this tournament in terms of attending matches. I think there's probably an awareness of the financial position the club are in, and the public have come out to support the side. There's a really good crowd here at Hove tonight, and that'll be one of the disappointments for Sussex in the competition. But after winning that first game at Chelmsford, and it won so convincingly by 6 wickets with 4 overs to spare, they've only recorded 1 victory, and that was against Kent here. And it will be a quite remarkable win if they were to win from here. They need to score 13.2 and over. Sussex are 34 for 4 at the end of the 7th. And it is going to be... who's this coming in from the far end?
Mackenzie Jones.
Yeah, comes in, bowls to Ollie Carter wide outside the off stump. So, well, I say wide outside the off stump. It was outside of the off stump, and Carter with a play and a miss. Ball goes through to keeper Michael Pepper, and there is no run.
Mackenzie Jones, 21 years old. He's 6'5", so he's a tall, fast bowler.
He is.
And although we haven't seen too much of him from an Essex point of view this season, he has, as I mentioned earlier, been away playing with the Scotland side.
Comes in down the hill, bowls, and a shortish delivery, and Carter ducks out of the way, lets the ball go through to Pepper. There is no run. So you would probably know Charlie Tier, who's a young Sussex wicket-keeper batsman who isn't playing tonight, but has played a couple of, certainly 1 championship game this season. In fact, 2. He played up at the Oval where he made a half-century. Michael Pepper is making a signal towards the dressing room. I wonder if he's... I know he's sort of directing the field, I think. I wonder if he was looking for a helmet to be brought out. But in comes Jones. Down the hill, bowls, and Carter is caught behind. A 5th wicket goes down. It's a horrible shot, really. It was wide outside of the off stump. Ollie Carter looking to crack the ball on the way on the offside. He's edged that through to the keeper. 34 for 5. Carter goes, and Sussex are stumbling to what could be an embarrassing defeat here. 34 for 5. And Ollie Carter wanders off. Sussex needing 205 to win. Jack Carson is probably the only recognised batter still to come in for Sussex. After that, it's into the bowlers, and well, it's been a shocking few weeks for Sussex in the T20, and well, it doesn't get much worse, to be honest, Victoria.
Yeah, Carter just tempted into the width of that delivery from Jones to have a swing at it, catches the edge of the bat through to Pepper, and again a big celebration from Mackenzie Jones because it's an almost instant impact for him for his first appearance of the season in the T20 Blast. 2 dot balls to start the over, and then a wicket on his 3rd.
Well, Jack Carson is a cricketer who certainly won't give up. He's one of these cricketers who fights right until the end, but it's an awful long way back here for Sussex. Expecting your number 7 to come in this situation and try and save the game. The run rate required is up to 13.7, but Sussex just need to restore some pride and some respectability here. As in comes Jones down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. He's in and bowls, and Carson drives. That's a nice shot by Jack Carson. Well done, Jack. He's going to pick up runs, and he's going to pick up a boundary. Yeah, and it's greeted with applause around Hove. Well, he's a fighter, is Jack Carson, and that's a lovely way to get off the mark. Proper cricket shot, drilling the ball through the covers for 4 runs. And it has to be said, you have to put this all in context of everything that's going on here at Sussex. They are difficult times, as Paul Farbrace set up at Edgbaston on Wednesday night. Players who don't know what the future holds for them, and no matter how much you try and put those things out of your mind, it really can't be easy for some of these Sussex players at the moment. As in comes Jones over the wicket and bowls, and it's bottom edged by Carson through to Pepper, who fields, and there is no run. But in fairness, Paul Farbrace has never used that as an excuse. He said once the players are out on the field, there's a job to be done. But this is a difficult night now for Sussex.
No, absolutely, and I think as well from you feel from a point of view of Essex being a similar sized county, having the similarities, not being a test venue, and that it serves as a stark warning about just how things can go.
Jones in bowls to Carson, who runs this to backward point. There is no run. Good over by Mackenzie Jones. He picked up a wicket, just conceded the 4 runs, and Sussex are 38 for 5 at the end of the over. And that's a really interesting point you make, actually, Victoria. And we were discussing that before we came on air, of the similarities between the two counties in lots of ways.
Yeah, and Essex, they've had the near recent, it's not as recent now, every year without a trophy, things get further away from the county championship titles of 2017 and 2019, and winning the T20 Blast in 2019, but they're not a county that benefits from being they get international women's games, but it's not a test venue for the men. It's not somewhere that hosts the 100, no matter what money might come elsewhere from the competition. But it just shows, and I know finances are tight for the county as well. So I think you have to remember that you're maybe one decision away from things going completely wrong for the county, and it doesn't matter then what happens on the pitch. As Zumaktar is into the attack for Essex, a shorter delivery which is turned into the leg side for a single by Alsop to start the over. 39 for 5, and it's not maybe it's not an allyship as such, but I think those smaller counties understand those challenges of each other and know the hard work and the financial struggles that come with being outside of that big group of counties who do have the money and the resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
Akhtar on his way into Carson, who's flashing into the leg side and coming through for the quick single. Again, all the Essex fielders on their toes, coming in close as soon as that ball is played.
And I think as well, Victoria, it demonstrates how quickly these things can happen. I mean, this time last year there was no indication that there was any issues around Sussex off the field in terms of finances and everything else, and a side being built back in the first division of the Championship, and lots of optimism around, and it's very hard for people here at the moment.
In comes Akhtar to Alsop, who's moving across his stumps, and that ball's spilled by Pepper. They think about coming through for the run. It was wide called, 40 for 5.
And I was saying earlier on that, around the counties, when we go around the country, Sussex have been doing very well in the county championship, and a few people have said to me, well, if we don't win it, we hope Sussex do, because...
Well, yeah, absolutely, and it would be remarkable if they can, as also waits, shorter delivery from Akhtar, who gets his warning for the no ball.
Oh, is this going to be a free hit?
Wait for the signal.
Yes, it is.
Here we go, free hit.
Well, Sussex need a bit of luck, so maybe this will... Yeah.
Essex had one Surrey bowled a no ball that went, I think it went for 6, did it in the end the other night?
Right.
But then the free hit wasn't as successful. But I think when you see Sussex at the top of the county championship, where they have been at times at the start of this season, maybe it's masked some of the issues, as Akhtar is in. It's going for 6. Well, they've made the most of that opportunity there as that one lands in the crowd. Tom Alsop got hold of that one completely and has whacked it away into the leg side for 6.
Well, he's last couple of winters he's spent away in Australia. Tom Alsop in the Big Bash, and as far as I'm aware, I need to double check this. He's got a gig in the 100 as well, so you can see why that was a big hit off the free hit. Trying to restore a bit of pride for his county.
He's into double figures. Sussex 48 for 5, chasing 205 as Akhtar is in, and this time it's drilled towards long on for a single. Been a rather expensive over from Zumaktar by the Essex standards so far.
Yeah, an issue that Sussex have got, without wishing to keep talking about Sussex's woes, is that they're unable to bring anybody in as well, whereas other counties might be able to bring in an overseas or whatever. Sussex are just not allowed to do that. So that, what they've got, what they have is what they've got.
49 for 5. Carson waits. Akhtar is in, and that one isn't timed. It's pushed up towards mid-on for no run. And we've got one delivery of the over to come. 49 for 5 remains the score. Essex haven't brought in a second overseas to replace Vian Mulder. He was available for the first 6 matches of the county championship, although he did have to miss a couple of games. And he was available for the first 6 games of the T20 Blast before off he went to Texas, I think it was, as Akhtar is in. That one's turned off the hip into the leg side by Carson for at least a single. It's fumbled on the fielding. They'll come back for 2, and the throw comes in, but they get home. Good running by the Sussex pair, who are 51 for 5 after 9.
And you're listening to Adrian Harms and Victoria Polly here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Essex. On a delightful evening here at Hove. Not a cloud in the sky, the floodlights are on. It's a night that's made for T20 cricket. There's a big crowd in here at Hove. From a Sussex supporter's point of view, so far it's been a disappointing one. Essex making 204 for 6. Michael Pepper top scoring with 47. Simon Harbour blasting 46 off 17 balls at the end of the Essex innings. And Sussex here 51 for 5, which is something that have improved because at one stage they were 34 for 5. It's going to be Mackenzie Jones who's going to carry on from the Cromwell Road end of the ground as the floodlights really tight start to take effect. Tall man running down the hill, comes into bowl to Tom Alsop. Alsop clips this one away through square leg, fielded on the boundary edge by Stater, who gets in the throw. One more to Tom Alsop. He goes to 12, which makes him high scorer in this innings for Sussex. I'll give you those other stats in a moment's time, as Jones is back to his mark at the far end of the ground and makes his way into bowl to the right-handed Jack Carson. He's in a bowl. Short pulled away by Jack Carson. Is he going to be caught? He is caught. Another wicket goes down. Jack Carson goes, pulled away towards mid-wicket. I think that's Simon Harmer who's taken. Is it Simon Harmer out there?
I think it might be Akhtar. I'm trying to see.
Okay, let's just see. It was pulled away onto the leg side. Yes, it was Zubac Torrey took the catch. My apologies. So Jack Carson goes for 7, and Sussex are 52 for 6. And now in amongst the bowlers, because Danny Briggs, Henry Crocombe, Sean Hunt and Tamal Mills to come. Whilst all of those guys can bat a little, it's almost impossible to think that this tail can carry Sussex home. The run rate required is 14.34, and I'm afraid this is a desperately disappointing night for Sussex. As I say, yeah, Tom Alsop is the leading scorer. I mean, he's 12 not out. So just running through that card: Ward out for 11, Hughes 2, Thomas 3, Simpson for 2, Ollie Carter for 11, and now Jack Carson on his way for 7. As in comes Jones, 2 wickets to his name, runs in down the hill, bowls to Danny Briggs, and Briggs plays that one down towards third man. They're going to take one. They'll think about coming back for the second. They do decide to come back for the second. Does Danny Briggs. Sussex go to 54 for 6. In this, the 10th over. I mean, it's largely irrelevant, really. At the end of the 10th over, Essex were 83 for 2. Sussex needing to score a highly improbable 14.4 and over if they're to get anywhere near this total. In comes Jones, bowls, and Briggs glides this nicely down to the sweeper on the cover boundary. It's just a single to Briggs. He goes to 3. Sussex to 55 for 6. But in terms of a contest, really, Victoria, it's without some sort of miracle here from Tom Alsop, I'm afraid it's really going to be a case of what the winning margin is going to be here.
And I think it highlights again how well Essex did to reach 204, considering that there were points in their innings where you didn't think they would.
Jones bowls to Alsop, eclipses onto the onside. They've taken one. Tom Alsop runs the first one very quickly The two men who've previously been at Hampshire, but it's just the one to Tom Alsop. He goes to 13, and Sussex do 56 for 6. Yeah, absolutely, because, I mean, at one stage, when Essex were 117 for 5 when Fernandez was out, and that was in the 14th over. Sorry, the 15th over. So I'm sure 204 was nowhere near what Essex were expecting to score. Jones bowls to Briggs, who looks to pull that ball. I think the ball hit the back of his bat. Either way, it's just bounced into the onside. There is no run. Nice and tidy from Mackenzie Jones at the end of the over. 56 for 6 are Sussex at the end of the 10th over. Sorry, Victor, I didn't make a note of the score at the end of the 9th. You're far more diligent than I.
51 for 5.
Thank you. So, 5 runs coming off of that over. 56 for 6. And the introduction, if you've had to name a man of the match now, it would probably be this man, Simon Harmer.
Well, yeah, and he will be pleased with what he's seen so far from his bowlers at the top of the innings, and we'll see what kind of effect spin can have for Essex. But I've been really pleased with what we've seen from Mackenzie Jones. I know not only has he been taking wickets in the second team, but he's been scoring runs as well, and Essex have probably been looking at those lower order runs as important, as Simon Harmer is coming around the wicket to Alsop, who plays that one back towards the bowler, Simon Harmer, who made 46 from 17 deliveries. Built an important partnership with the bat with Matt Critchley, and then Shane Snater at the end of the innings as Harmer is in, gives that one some air. It's in the air. He should be out. No, it's misjudged by Shane Snater, who wasn't sure where that was going to fall. He puts his hand up in apology to Simon Harmer. He just hesitated on whether he needed to come in a bit further or wait for the ball to dip into his hand. In the end, it bounces in front of Shane Snater, still prevents the boundary, but doesn't get the wicket. And I think Tom Alsop thought he was gone there. 56 for 6 as Harmer is in, and that one this time is played along the ground to Shane Snater, who you can imagine gets a bit of jeering from the Hove crowd. And they'll come through for a single. 57 for 6. Beautiful sunset sky now around us.
No, absolutely. The way to the west would be gorgeous.
The floodlights that have been on for most of the evening are now starting to have more of an effect. As Harmer, still in sunglasses, is in on the back foot, turned into the leg side by Briggs for a single. My apologies, as he turns around. He hasn't got his sunglasses on anymore. I'm just so used to even in the darker sky seeing Simon Harmer with his sunglasses, but I think they are on top of the umpire's cap. 58 for 6. Alsop waits. Harmer is in, and that one has him diving down to his left-hand side. A good stop as he just has to get Briggs out of the way at the non-striker's end to field it. So agile is Simon Harmer. He is a tall man, and he still can throw himself around as Harmer is in. A bit more width on that one, through the gap in the offside. It'll be fielded out in the deep by Benkenstein for a single. 3 singles from the over after 11. Sussex 59 for 6, and they're chasing an improbable 205 to win.
I remember here, actually, Victoria, during the Bob Willis Trophy during COVID, when Essex came here for a game, and Sir Alistair Cook played and Simon Harmer played, and I remember how helpful they were to some of the Sussex lads. And Tom Haynes still speaks about how Sir Alistair came and spoke to some of the young Sussex players who were very young at that stage, talking about, you know, the need to practice and what he does, and it was really good. And I remember Simon Harmer spending some time out in the middle talking to Jack Carson as well about, you know, obviously off spin bowling. So I just remember that being a really good day here at Hove.
Yeah, I think he's probably quite well known for that around the county circuit.
Is this actor back into the attack?
Yes,
Bottom edged by Tom Alsop down to fine leg fielded by Fernandez down in front of us.
I remember when Shoaib Bashir made his first class debut for Somerset at Chelmsford, and I think Essex went on to win the game quite early on in the day, so there was a bit of time left, and we were all doing our post-match duties in the press box. I remember seeing Simon Harmer in conversation with Bashir for a long time, and
well, I think
whatever advice he's given.
Hectorian bowls to Briggs with a swing and a miss through to keeper Pepper, and there is no run. Total remains 60 for 6. Run rate required. A hugely unlikely 9, impossible 16.7 and over. But I think that's terrific, isn't it? And I'm sure he gets a very good reputation around the counties for that. Prepared to share his knowledge with young cricketers, and he must be a huge influence on this Essex side. Hector is in. Bowls, Briggs, to pull it onto the leg side, completely miscues. The ball ends up at short extra cover, and there is no run. So just the one run off the over, 60 for 6. I think quite a few people have decided to leave, actually, Victoria. I can see quite a lot of empty blue seats at the far end of the ground, and the Shark stand, which was very well filled earlier, a few people just sort of wandering away, which is a real shame. Hectorian bowls. Danny Briggs hammers that one away. That's 4 runs. Oh, it's a bit of late order defiance by Danny Briggs, over pitched, and Danny Briggs smacking the ball away through mid off for 4 runs. Nice looking shot by Danny Briggs. And a rare boundary for Sussex. 64 for 6. Briggs goes to 8. Just in terms of these Essex bowling figures, Shane Snater is bowled out. 4 overs, 1 for 28. Terran again bowls to Danny Briggs, and he thought that's going to go for 6 runs. There we go, all the way to the Shark stand. Who says Danny Briggs can't bat? So it was short, it was heaved away over fine leg. 6 runs to Danny Briggs. That's a good shot. And Akhtar has been by far the most expensive of the Essex bowlers.
Well, yeah, it's just shown that if there's a ball that can be punished, Briggs is going to take it. And back-to-back boundaries for him, and it's looking rather expensive in comparison.
Briggs thumps that one away. That goes through the covers for a single field in front of the clock tower scoreboard. End of the over, 71 for 6. Danny Briggs is on 15, Tom Alsop is on 16. The two former Hampshire men trying to restore some respectability to this Sussex total. So Akhtar's 2 overs have actually cost 25. Prior to that, Sam Cook 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 5. Extraordinary figures. Mackenzie Jones 2 overs. He's taken 2 for 9. Simon Harmer just the 1 over for 3, and it is going to be Simon Harmer who's going to bowl the 13th over of the innings. That over actually the most expensive of the innings, going for 12.
I need to write it down. Almost forgot.
Case.
Yeah, so we had 3 singles from Simon Harmer's first over that he bowled, and he'll be bowling the 13th for Essex. He's into Briggs, who's turned that one around the corner, and it's well fielded just inside the ring by Sam Cook, throwing himself around. Back in the side for Essex, trying the reverse sweep on that occasion was Briggs, who's on 15, so dot ball to start the over as Harmer is in, and that one has come off a bottom edge. He might well just get a boundary for it as it's being chased away to the rope. It's been kept just inside, I think, by Paul Walter, and they'll come back for a couple of runs. Just watch it on the replay to see if Paul Walter managed to keep it in before his foot touched the rope. They came back for 2 as Harmer is in. Briggs tries the reverse sweep again and he gets hit on the helmet. So I think we may well just have to have a stop and a check, because that just bounced up onto the helmet of Briggs. So it's 73 for 6 halfway through the 13th over. The protocols will have to be abided by, and a chance for everyone just to take a moment.
Yes, absolutely. John Moretti, the Sussex physio, coming onto the ground. If you just joined us and wondering what on earth's happened here today, well, Essex making 204 for 6 in their 20 overs. That looked very unlikely when Fernandez was out. Simon Fernandez was out, with Essex were 117 for 5. But some terrific lower order hitting by the Essex skipper Simon Harmer. 46 in 17 balls with 4 sixes. Saw Essex this total of 204, which always looked a good total. But then Sussex slumping to 17 for 3. Ward, Hughes and Thomas already back in the pavilion. Sam Cook on his first game for Essex since injuring his arm earlier in the season, at one stage with extraordinary figures of 3 for 1. Although there's a bit of late order resistance here by Danny Briggs and Tom Alsop. It's been a very poor night for Sussex.
Well, Danny Briggs has answered whatever questions he's had to go through, and Harmer is into him on the back foot. He turns this one towards short fine leg for a dot ball. I heard Alex Hartley talking about this on commentary the other day, about sometimes they're asked to say the months of the year backwards or something, just to check that everything's in order. 73 for 6 remains the scores as Harmer is in, and that one is pushed up towards the long on boundary for a single. Briggs takes himself out of the firing line on 18, 74 for 6. A useful partnership building here for Sussex. It's not going to be enough, but just providing some resistance in the second half of this innings as Harmer is in. Bit of width on that one. It's played towards extra cover for no run. So at the end of the 13th over, another 3 from the over, and Sussex are 74 for 6.
Yeah. Tom Alsop and Danny Briggs having a little natter in the middle of the pitch. A gentleman just pointing out on the big screen that he's being shown. They were, oh, that wasn't very nice. Did you see that? I don't think he should have done that. We won't say the sign that he made. But anyway. It's going to be Danny Briggs who's going to take strike. Is it going to be Zamakto who's going to bowl again? No, they're going to change the bowling around. Matt Critchley's going to come on and bowl his leg spin. I like Matt Critchley. I thought he was a very good cricketer when he was at Derbyshire, and I thought he was a very good signing for Essex. And he's proven so, hasn't he, both in red and white ball cricket?
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Silverwood said the game against Surrey on Wednesday night, where actually the pitch was probably more suited to spin. He said it was the best he's seen Matt Critchley bowl with Essex.
Well, I think he's a very fine all-round cricketer. Comes in to bowl to Danny Briggs, who plays the first ball through the covers and picks up a single to the fielder in front of the clock tower scoreboard. It's just the 1 run. Field changes over for the left-handed Tom Alsop, 75 for 6. Sussex needing to score at 19 and over from here. They're currently going on at 5.7 and over, so it's highly improbable. As Critchley is in, bowls to Alsop, who slams that one away down to long on and picks up another single to Alsop. He goes to 17, 76 for 6.
There's an impromptu photo shoot going on down to our right-hand side.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Got a group of guys with their drinks posing in front of the action.
Yeah. Critchley in again, bowls short and played away by Danny Briggs down to long off. Picks up another single, does Danny Briggs, who's the Sussex top scorer. He goes to 20. Sussex 77 for 6. Brings the left-handed Tom Alsop on to strike, who just surveys that leg side boundary. Pulls it onto the leg side. That's a good shot by Tom Alsop, and he's going to pick up. That's another very, I have to say, the Essex fielding has been excellent as the throw comes in. Who's that out there? It's
Luke Benkenstein again.
Very, very good. Well, we were hearing from Chris Adams earlier on about how he went to Seaford College. He's
done a good job, Chris.
Yeah, and he took 2 brilliant catches and then a very good piece of fielding out there on the leg side boundary, just prevents a boundary. 2 more to Alsop. He goes to 19, and now Alsop pulls that ball away. Now is he going to get caught running in from long on? The ball just drops short. And Tom Alsop picks up a single. He goes to 20. Sussex to 80 for 6. With 1 ball to go. This the 14th over. Didn't quite carry. Who's that all the way?
Simon Harmer out on the boundary, and they've just moved Fernandez over into the offside as well.
Critchley in. Bowl scooped away by Danny Briggs. That's a terrific shot. Benkenstein tracing around the 1 bounce over the boundary for 4 runs. Well, Danny Briggs is rather enjoying himself here. The commentator who doesn't know what he's talking about said that's a long tail. Well, I think it is in fairness, but Danny Briggs is showing that he's perfectly capable of scoring runs. He goes to 24, and Sussex at the end of the over are 84 for 6.
Sometimes when a side loses quick wickets so early on and that the total becomes difficult for a side to reach, you just feel that the shackles are off a bit, and players can play shots like that, and they will take those risks, and sometimes it will pay off. So Briggs is on to 24, Allsop is on 20, and Simon Harmer is going to continue with the ball for Essex. The T20 captain, the South African spinner, is coming in to Allsop, who fires that one back, and Simon Harmer has managed to parry that onto the stumps at the non-striker's end. He's hurt himself in the process as the Essex captain. He's hurt his fingers, I think, but he's diverted that onto the stumps, which has sent Danny Briggs on his way. So Allsop was trying to drive that one back down the ground, and Simon Harmer is in a great deal of pain here for Essex. It's another wicket down for Sussex. He just drives that one. Harmer sticks out the fingers. Briggs was already out of his crease. So Essex get the run out. But Simon Harmer might need some treatment here from the physio. And what was building as a bit of a partnership out in the middle for Sussex comes to an end with Briggs departing for 24. Sussex 84 for 7, and we'll wait to see if Harmer is okay to continue.
Yes, I didn't know about the commentary box there, Victoria. What actually happened there?
So it was Allsop was driving back towards the bowler. Harmer got down to it, stuck out his fingers, diverts it onto the stumps.
Right.
Briggs is already out of his crease, so he's run out, but Harmer looked in a great deal of pain as he did that. He's back up on his feet now.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Absolutely. I mean, he's okay. He's a pretty hardy cricketer, isn't he? So
I'm surprised he's up and ready to bowl as quickly the way he looked. Allsop waits. Harmer is in. He's gone big here. He should get 6 for that over the leg side. 6 runs is the reply from Allsop after he's seen Briggs run out at the non-striker's end. And it's 6 to the score for Sussex, who are 90 for 7. Allsop onto 26 as Harmer is in. Bit more width on that one. It's slapped through the offside out into the deep for a single. And Crocombe is the new man to join Allsop in the middle, and he will face his first ball here.
Yeah. Well, Tom Allsop is at least giving the crowd some entertainment here at the end of proceedings, and Henry Crocombe hasn't had the greatest day with the ball, finishing with 1 for 58 in his 4 overs. Well, he's perhaps keen to dish out some punishment of his own to Simon Harmer. We shall see.
Harmer to Crocombe on the back foot. He wasn't sure where that one ended up. It just pops behind Pepper and the stumps and allows them to scramble through for a single. So Crocombe off the mark. Sussex 92 for 7. We've still got a couple of deliveries of what's been quite an eventful over. Wicket, 6, couple of singles. Harmer over the wicket to Allsop, and that's not timed. Played out into the offside for no run. Harmer with the blue trainers on. In again to Allsop, who plays that one back towards the bowler. There's never really a chance for Harmer to catch as he waits for that one to be thrown in from Snater. A single to the score from the final delivery of the over, 93 for 7 after 15.
I have to say, actually, interesting watching Shane Snater field that ball because, clearly Essex are going to win this game. And, you might have thought that perhaps they would think, oh, it's only a single. But, I mean, he came racing across there as if his life depended on it there, Shane Snater. Not for the first time this evening. Just very impressive in the field are Essex. They've held their catches, which was key early on. And it's been a very good all-round performance. 93 for 7 at the end of the 15th. It is going to be Matt Critchley who's going to carry on bowling to Tom Allsop. He's in and bowls, and also driving hard down the ground, down towards long off, picks up a single. No, picks up a couple of runs because Henry Crocombe very quickly back to the other end. Tom Allsop goes to 30, Sussex to 95 for 7.
Good running.
Yeah, just trying to restore a bit of pride here. He's trying to say the shackles are off, really. He can enjoy himself in inverted commas as Critchley's in and swept away by Tom Allsop. Picks up another couple of runs. In fact, they do come back for the second. There was nearly a misunderstanding. Well, there was a misunderstanding between Crocombe And Allsop, they didn't just know whether to come back for the second. In the end, Henry Crocombe had to get a bit of a move on to get back in time to complete Allsop's second run. Allsop goes to 32. Sussex to 97 for 7. Critchley tosses the ball from hand to hand. Then again, bowls, and Allsop drives without timing. The ball dribbles down the offside of the pitch. Critchley runs round and fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. Matt Critchley in his second over. Comes in off half a dozen paces or so. Bowls, Allsop using his feet. Plays the ball down the ground to long on. It'll just be a single. Allsop goes to 33. Sussex to 98 for 7. Which brings Henry Crocombe on strike for the first time against Matt Critchley. The sun has almost disappeared from view. It's a beautiful evening here on the south coast. Floodlights shining brightly as Critchley is in bowls to Henry Crocombe, who eases that one to shortish fine leg or backward square leg. Take your pick really, and it's a single to Henry Crocombe. He's on 2. Sussex 99 for 7. Final ball of the 16th over. Critchley's in bowls to Allsop. He's hammered that away. Is he going to get caught? No, he's not. It just bounces short of the fielder down not long on. Tom Allsop goes to 34, and the rather ironic applause around the ground is for the 100 up for Sussex. 100 for 7 at the end of the 16th over. There were 7 runs coming off of that over. So of the 4 overs remaining, Sussex needing the very unlikely 105 to win, almost impossible. DLS always gives you a guide of where sides are in a chase, and DLS is currently 173. So I think we can safely say Essex are going to win this game. All that remains to be decided is what the winning margin is going to be.
And just remember, it was, well, just before this point of the Essex innings where they went from 117 for 5 to then put on those 87 runs in the final 5 overs or so, as Harmer's going to continue with a full delivery to start the over. It's well fielded on the boundary at long off by Shane Snater, which means Sussex are restricted to a single from the first ball of the over. 101 for 7. Simon Harmer with the run out in his previous over.
Another good bit of fielding though by Snater. I mean, he was chasing around there as if his life depended on it. It's very impressive.
Harmer around the wicket to Crocombe, who again calls Snater into action on the boundary edge. Another single. I would say, I mean, Benkenstein's been hugely impressive, but if you'd have asked me who I think the best fielder in the Essex side is, Snater would certainly be up there as well, as Harmer is in. It's a swing and a miss from Tom Allsop. He was down on one knee reaching for that one.
That might have gone many a mile down towards the seafront, I think, if he connected with that.
2 singles so far from the over. Harmer into Allsop. That's gone high. Has it got enough on it? Harmer says mine. Is he going to get underneath it? Simon Harmer takes the catch off his own bowling. He told everyone else to keep away because he was running after that one. It had gone high from Tom Allsop, but it hadn't got a huge amount of distance on it. He departs for 35. Essex edging closer to victory. Sussex 102 for 8.
Well, that was brilliant. I mean, you know, he absolutely claimed it. I mean, that's not easy, Victoria. That's coming over his shoulder. He's chasing back, and yeah, just to reiterate the point, this is a game that Essex are going to win comfortably. And there's the skipper, who's what, 37 years of old, 37 years of age. He's chasing back. He's taken a brilliant catch. I mean, I think the Essex fielding has been absolutely outstanding tonight. I know they're winning the game and they're clearly full of confidence, but nonetheless, they're chasing around as if their lives depended on it. They've taken the catches, and the skipper there leading by example. He did with the bat, and he has in the field as well. I mean, I think that's tremendous cricket.
Yeah, he told young Mackenzie Jones, stay away, I've got this one, and he kept to his word, held on to the catch. So Allsop departs for 35, and Mills comes to the crease. Harmer is in. That's gone high up in the air. Who's going to get under this one? Will it be Snater? Has he judged it right this time? He has. Catches on the long off boundary, and maybe getting a bit of stick from behind him as well. He tells the crowd he's taken the catch. 102 for 9. Essex need one more wicket for victory here. The captain departs first ball.
Well, it looks like Sussex, for the third game in a row, are not even going to bat their 20 overs, which in T20 cricket, he just put his finger to his lips there, didn't he? Change that as if they shh, I've taken the catch. Tamel Mills goes first ball.
Simon Harmer on a hat-trick.
This is a sorry display from Sussex. I mean, we all know what's going on, but it's this has been very, very poor indeed. There's been some very poor performances in the T20 Blast, but I'm sorry to say this is right up there. Take nothing away from Essex. They posted an imposing total, but really this has been a very poor batting performance from Sussex tonight.
So Simon Harmer has a slip and a leg slip in place for his hat-trick ball. It's Hunt on strike. Harmer is in, and Hunt just defends that one back to the bowler. So the end of the over, 2 singles and 2 wickets from it. After 17, Sussex are 102 for 9.
Yes, indeed. And Essex are going to run out comprehensive winners here. As I say, people do tend to join us all the time during the commentaries here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio... No, not BBC Radio, BBC Essex and BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harmer's Victoria Polly, but it's been a terrific night for Essex, who will go into their final group games in good heart and with a chance of qualification for the quarter-finals. I'm afraid for Sussex, they didn't have any chance before tonight, and tonight has been a desperately disappointing show. So it is Sam Cook who's back into the attack, comes in and bowls to Henry Crocombe, who plays the ball down the ground, lofts it down the ground. They'll take them on, they'll think about a second, but it really isn't there. And it's fielded out in the deep by, is that Port Walsh all the way up there? No, he would throw
it's the Mackenzie Jones.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they look very similar out in the deep, don't
Yes.
they? The tall figures. I think I said I was critical of Essex with the bat because the top score was Michael Pepper with 47, followed by Simon Harmer with 46, and I felt whether they would feel it was costly not to have a half century, but as it is.
Cook is in, bowls to Sean Hunt, who drills that to short extra cover. And Simon Harmer, so I hate to sound like a broken record, but I mean, he would have every right there just to think, oh, well, I can't be, I'm not going to dive down, but he dived to his left. Setting an example to his side. We might be going to win this game by a country mile, but diving away, preventing it from going for a boundary. It's impressive stuff. 104 for 9. In again, bowls. Crocombe is bowled, and there we are. Sam Cook picks up his 4th wicket of the innings. They are career best figures for Sam Cook. Henry Crocombe is the last man out. Sussex have been bowled out for just 104 in 17.3 overs. It's the 3rd game in a row that they've been bowled out within the 20 overs. The Sussex public are out of their seats and on their way out of their ground pretty quickly. It's been a hugely disappointing night for the Sharks. A terrific night for Essex, who have convincingly won here by 100 runs. All round, just the much better side. Yeah,
great performance with the bat for Essex. Managed to climb to that total of 204. We wondered what would be a competitive total on this pitch, and they've matched that performance, particularly in the back end of the innings with the ball as well. And a word for Sam Cook, his best T20 career figures, 4 for 7. He finishes up with from his 3.3. Back in the side with Essex. How glad they will be to have him back involved, and it gives them a chance of continuing in this competition.
Well, it does. I'm sorry, Victoria. I should have let you have the honour there of describing that last wicket, which was poor of me. But as I say, I was waxing lyrical about the Essex performance, but I just thought all round, and I was just so impressed with their performance in the field, because they were going to win this game after about, when Sussex were 19 for 3, they were going to win this game. But the professionalism in the field, I thought was to be admired. And they held on to catches as well. I think maybe there was two drops or one drop and one that didn't quite carry, and again, that can often be the difference in the field. We saw Sussex drop a couple of chances that we thought were ones they should have taken as well, which can be the difference. And I have to say, Adrian, I do feel sorry for Sussex, and I'm really sorry for what's going on here for both the club and the supporters, because that
it is sad to see the troubles off the field, and then the impact that things can have on the field as well. But from an Essex point of view, they'll be pleased to get back to winning ways in the T20 Blast and take that victory into Sunday against Middlesex.
Well, it's kind of you to say that, Victoria, and I think there is a good deal of sympathy around the county circuit for Sussex, but they're in the mess that they're in, and certainly, although the management have done their best to keep, to keep the show on the road, it's proving increasingly difficult, and I think Sussex will be pleased to see the end of this T20 campaign. Maybe in the Knockout Cup they can get a bit of pride back, and then of course there'll be the county championship to come, which resumes in August. But lots of T20 cricket to come. We'll be back on Wednesday night when Sussex go to the Oval to place Surrey, and your next game is
on Sunday, the double header for the Essex women and the men. The women taking on Surrey, and then the men taking on Middlesex, which you've got commentary of both games on the BBC Sport website, and the women get underway at 11:30.
all right. So it's an afternoon game.
It is
the men's game.
The men start at 4.
So you'll be able to watch the World Cup.
Well,
it looks like that is now a 7 o'clock kickoff.
Well, there we go. Yes. So hopefully they'll be done in time, and everyone can watch the game.
Victoria, it's great to be with you. Always a pleasure to work with you, and you're always very generous in your praise. So it's great to see you again, and well done, Essex. Good luck for the rest of the competition. But for me, Adrian Harms, and Victoria, thanks for joining us this evening, and we'll do it all again Sunday for Victoria and myself next